That's what I
can't tell
said.
how
That's
close I need to
exactly
stick to
what I
mine.
was thinking. I was going to go
Professor
for my
Matthew.
physics doctorate, but then I thought, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it.
Just Professor Matthew.
I would just rather talk on this podcast.
That's fair.
Professor Matthew at Hogwarts Academy.
I'm zoomed in on you for some ungodly reason. Let me.
Oh, I just leaned
No, that's
in.
his
I'm
camera.
okay.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say,
I
I'm
just
like,
leaned-
you just became giant on the screen. I'm like, how did that happen? Okay, I get it now.
He's a barbarian. He just raged. It's all right.
That's right. I'm in rage.
Is anybody
Rage
seeing? Are
mode.
we up on stream?
Yes.
It says live now.
All right, well, there we go.
Yep, I can hear Chris.
Yep.
But do you hear him
Hear
well?
myself. Yeah.
Okay. Oh look, we're live.
It's live, people.
It's happening. It should be a fun show.
Oh, because if it
Did
isn't,
you
I'll
like
be
my title,
disappointed.
Mothered Day? Huh?
I saw that. Yeah. I thought
Are
maybe.
you
the
are you
typo
guys living in the past? It was Mother's Day in March for us.
Okay.
We
You know
talked
what?
about
Look,
this
we
before.
are
Come on now.
the future and
You like
past.
to do things different, don't you?
We do. We
Well,
Everything's
march to our
different.
own beat. And you know what? It
Your
works.
Clock settings.
They'll
We've
never
been
get a
friends for
deal
how
with
long, and
anybody.
you're
The
now
tariffs are
figuring
going to
this
be
out?
terrible. They'll never. Oh, the UK just caved. We got to.
When
don't-
when oh
think the
UK's
U-
done anyway, man. I'm gonna have you. But when's your Father's Day then?
Same day as yours, I believe.
June,
June.
second
15th
Sunday
of
in
June.
June.
Yeah.
As it's 15th of June, yeah.
Yeah. Just for some reason, Mother's Day is different, and of course, the time change is always different, which I
Yeah.
still don't understand that aspect.
No, because the rest of the world are all the same.
Well,
and
no,
then
because we all
you guys
change
are different.
time, which again, why,
Hmm.
you know, I'm all for getting rid of it. By the way, all for getting rid of the time
yeah.
change.
Yeah.
So we used to
don't
all
vote one or
change
the other.
together. The whole world all agreed on daylight savings day.
Right.
During I believe it was the second George W. Bush administration, we moved daylight savings time 2 weeks earlier, and we stayed in it 2 weeks longer.
Oh, do we know
I
a
don't
reason
know.
why?
More daylight savings.
Oh.
Um,
In the words
Yeah.
of George W. Bush, strategery.
don't get fooled again. I'm all for going to daylight savings time and staying there. Like,
Yeah.
let's not fall back anymore. Mother's Day was
This is like history.
I want to say that was
Love it.
in the 1914. I can't remember who the president was in 1914, but that was when we established Mother's Day as the second Sunday in May in the
Hey, Alexa.
USA.
Who was the president in 1914?
The President of the United States from March 4th, 1913 to March 4th, 1921 was Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow Wilson.
Oh, she's on-
Good old Woodrow
Oh.
Wilson. He's
Woodrow
responsible.
Wilson. Fun fact: I went to Woodrow Wilson Elementary School.
Wow.
There you go.
Huh.
Look at you landing it, bringing it all home. That's good. All right. Alexa, go
You
home.
just got knowledge.
Alexa, go home.
Oh,
Is that-
thought
I
maybe
have an
all
Echo
about
Show
that.
in my office, so I can
Oh, I-
so I can put on my son's camera, that kind of thing, when I'm working. If he's here, this way, if he
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
in a seizure, that kind of thing. But she doesn't. She listens a little too much, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was wondering if maybe Alexa actually was going to get up and go somewhere. Our Alexas do not move; they just stay where they are.
You know what? Give it a couple years. I bet we'll have a moving, walking Alexa.
Isn't that
Stop listening.
doesn't Tesla have one of those? Tesla has like a Tesla robot that
Yeah.
walks and talks.
Yep.
We robot.
Well, and they had that whole. They had the robots that ran the marathon, and like half of them like crapped out. They couldn't complete the marathon. They broke down with mechanical failure. So anyway, hey, let's
To be fair,
podcast.
if I ran a marathon, I'd break down with mechanical failure.
Oh, yeah.
too, so.
I'll never
Yeah,
forget. Oh, we'll save this conversation for a different time. Let's podcast right now.
Right now.
If we have to.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly? I think we're just getting started. Medic! I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
He sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to episode 835 of the Overseas Connection podcast. It's Mother's Day. If you've been mothered, happy Mother's Day. Yeah, that doesn't quite work, but it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of the U.S. mothers. The UK and everybody else apparently celebrated Mother's Day a few months back-ish.
Yep,
Yeah.
30th of March. Yeah.
We're a podcast about video games, if you're new to us. So strap in, sit down, give a listen, take part in the chat if you're watching this live, if you're watching the or listening to the audio version even. We do this every Sunday. It is at 12 p.m. on the West Coast, the only important coast. It is 3 p.m. in the East Coast, which is
The
it's
most
okay.
important coast.
Used to be. 8 p.m. in the UK, which nobody really cares about. But
The most
sadly,
important time zone.
it really isn't, Mark. It really isn't.
Yeah, it is.
No,
it is. Well, Kim would agree with me.
I have to go with Mark on this one. Greenwich Mean Time is somewhat important to
It used to be. Used to
the
be.
other 7.5 billion people on the planet.
They don't count, Mr. Matthew. They don't count. Last but not least, if you happen to live in the Central Time Zone, which we're sorry, it is in fact 2 p.m. right now.
Yes.
Actually 2:04 if I'm going to be exact. All right. We are going to kick this show off. We're going to introduce this lovely cavalcade of hosts. Of course, my name, Greg DeLacy, gamertag Murphy's Law, OC_Murphy's Law on Twitter. I am joined by the man with the most stable internet connection possible, Mr. Mark Wright, hailing from some unknown parts of the UK.
Yeah, West Yorkshire in the UK, right? bang in
Like
the
I
middle
said,
of the north of
unknown
England.
parts
Yeah.
of the UK.
Yeah, internet's still playing up. Virgin's still not fixed it. Every time they give a date where it's going to be fixed, when it comes to that date, I get another email, being moved on 2 more days. Now it's saying the 12th of May.
Mark, I stand
which
by
is
my
tomorrow.
commentary. Do not trust an internet company named Virgin. You don't want somebody
No.
with their first experience trying to take care of your internet.
No, it still sucks donkey dick.
No,
But apart from that, hello Greg, hello everyone.
it's no longer
Hello, Mark.
Virgin, apparently. All right. Also, joining us in Kalamazoo, Western Washington, Ontario, Canada, Miss Kim Woods. Kim, how are you?
Good. That's me at GamerGirl27, just about everywhere. Yeah, it's nice here, and let's do a show.
And okay, people are probably wondering, Greg, why do you always mess up where she lives? It's twofold. One, I do have some memory block in terms of where you actually live. But two, even if I did know specifically where you live, I do know it's such a tiny town that I don't want to put it out there because likely it would not be difficult to find you. And we want to protect you. You're a treasure.
Right.
You're the first lady of our gaming podcast. So, you know.
Well, all right. I thought that was Mark, but all right.
Oh, shots fired.
Oh, shots fired.
And lastly, hailing.
It was a dick move.
That was definitely a dick move. We have Chris Matthew in some part of, I believe, New York.
Some part of New York in the time zone that matters. It sounded like it hurt you when you used my given name there. For just a moment.
Slightly. I don't know why. I need to call you Christopher for some reason, and then it's always Mr. Christopher Matthew or Mr. Matthew.
You know what? Whatever works. You can find me at OC space CP Matthew on Xbox Live, or they still call me Moose on Steam. I think I have a PSN account, but I haven't used it in ages. It's probably OCCP Matthew.
right.
Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck indeed.
Good luck.
All right. If you are listening to the show right now, whether it be on Twitch, whether it be on YouTube, or if you're listening to it in an audio version down the road, like, subscribe, do the social media thing. It does help us. We don't ask for it often. We should ask for it more often. So I'm doing it as part of my public service announcement. Okay. Everything's done. We've got the intro of the show is out of the way. We're talking some birthdays real fast. I'm going to pass the buck on this. I'm going to start trying to delegate a little bit more because I don't delegate often enough. So, Mark, I'm delegating birthdays to you for this moment in time.
Okay.
I love that when Greg says delegate, what he really means is I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I can't be.
Brace
honest.
yourselves.
Yeah. Well, one of the most important birthdays has just gone last Friday, which was mine. But we also had a couple of days before we had Dan Tilson on May the 7th. The day after mine, on yesterday, Saturday, was Stuart Fowler from the Veteran Gamers. John Wolfe, don't know who that is, May the 12th. And Dave Avery, not spoken to Dave for a long time, May the 13th. So happy birthday, guys. Do you want me to do the sound clip or are you doing it?
I would love for you to do the sound clip, please.
Very nice.
Okay. I may regret that. I love, by the way, in the birthday callouts, and so, I don't know who you are. Just random, just
before. Does any? I've just not seen the name before. We've been doing this a long time now. It's the first time I've seen that name. So
He's from
curious.
Loudgate Gaming.
All right, okay,
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, he goes by Jay Wolf, or used to. I think he's changed.
Oh, Jay Wolf. Yeah, I know that name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that gamer tag.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Jay Wolf and all, happy birthday to everybody. Mark, happy birthday to you. I can't believe 75 and you look so young.
You're older than my father.
Not quite.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I didn't want to say
No,
anything.
I was. It did end in a 5. Yeah, 55 on Friday.
Double nickels.
Yeah.
Double nickels.
Yeah. Halfway to fucking between 50 and 60. That's painful.
Now, if you really want to treat yourself, Mark, there is a fantastic wine from a company called Nickel and Nickel. They're out in the Napa Valley. It's going to set you back quite a bit, but you could get just a fantastic Cabernet Sauvignon, Nickel and Nickel. Celebrate your birthday.
Yeah, I'm not really a wine person.
Yeah, okay.
I bought a bottle of special edition Baileys. It was toffee popcorn Baileys, and that was lush. That
I'm
was
sorry.
really nice.
Say it one more time, please.
Toffee popcorn Baileys.
Toffee popcorn Baileys.
So, do you guys have that Butterkiss toffee popcorn over there?
We do. We do.
Yeah. So it's like if you pour Baileys over the top of that, that's just what it tastes like. It's sickly but beautiful.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Now I can't make fun of
what do you-
that because I have peanut butter banana Baileys in our liquor
Right.
cabinet.
Oh, but that's nice.
It is good. It's really good. I'm not gonna lie.
And regular Baileys. So.
I got their Belgian chocolate one at Christmas. Oh, I didn't like it at all. I thought it'd be really nice, but it's I didn't like it. It
Oh my
was
god, I almost drank a whole bottle by myself. Maybe that says more about me. I don't know, but anyway.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, my mum was happy. She ended up with it.
Mr. Matthew, do you have any favorite flavored liqueurs?
Oh nice.
I'm kind of a straight bourbon, or maybe an old fashioned type of person. Like if I'm going to mix a drink,
Right.
I have some salted caramel Baileys. That's pretty tasty.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
that's nice,
That goes good in a coffee.
the other thing I really drink is Baileys, and I like spiced rum. But I like there's a Sainsbury's do one which is like a salted caramel and toffee, spice rum type thing. That's really nice.
That's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a theme going on with the toffee, popcorn, and caramel.
When I used to go to the gym, as a total side note to this, but just thinking about flavored drinks, I used to, come in with my mocha, and my trainer would just look at me. He's like, "So you got a brownie in a cup?" And I'm like, "Yep." And that's indeed what I have. Shout out to Lewis in the chat. I see him there. Don't think we don't see you. What is he saying? My kind of
He's
guy.
congratulating me on
He's
my-
trying to
on my
court you,
choice of
Mr. Matthew.
I mean, or maybe he just wants to have a drink. That's the thing that happens.
It does. It does. All right. Let's talk some story time.
Everyone here loves story time, our favorite time of the day.
Not that we already weren't talking story time, because we were, but let's give it the official kickoff. So, I know I missed last week's show. I was not, in fact, at an Arizona bridal shower show, as Mr. Matthew so nicely threw out there.
No, don't lie, Greg. Don't lie.
I thought that's where you got
We all
that
know
shirt.
better.
This would not be the bridal party colors would not be lime green. It would be a.
So what was that dress you that dress you wore in the photographs you sent us all? What was all that about?
We're
then?
talking about that transition later, Mark. We're talking about that later.
Okay, sorry.
No, I was up visiting with my mom.
Sorry, Gina.
I actually have kind of a deal with my sister where she lives a good 4.5 hours away from my mom, and so her husband, because she can't drive anymore, so he'll bring her up halfway, and then I take her the rest of the way. Mostly wintertime, that's really the issue, because they don't have a vehicle that can get up over the mountain pass without chains. So I still was like, you know what? It'll be good. I'll go up and visit with mom, spend some time up there. And so it was good. Had a good visit, hanging out.
Really?
Yeah. It
Are you
was
still looking for a place nearer to you guys?
That is the plan. So my mom is going in for surgery on the 12th. So once she has her surgery, that is going to help free up some mobility for her. And then we're going to look for something down this way, whether it's closer to me or closer to my other sister. So she'll be kind of in between the three of us siblings, which I think that might be the best of all worlds. But either way, we want to get her closer over this side of the mountain pass in particular, so we don't have to deal with snow trying to go visit her during the winter months.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in that visit, I went and I saw the movie Thunderbolts.
Oh, we were going to go see this
Yeah.
on Friday for my birthday, but because it was such a nice day, we didn't. Yeah, I've heard really good things about it. It's getting really good reviews.
It is. I fear it's not going to do necessarily quote unquote as well as the box office as some hoped, but it was really good. Fantastic addition to the Marvel universe. I think what I liked most about it was the fact that it was just a bunch of lesser known characters, and they're all anti-hero characters. So they've appeared in, or at least most of them have appeared in previous Marvel movies, in some fashion or another, as either the bad guy in that movie or just a spot cameo. And now they're being rallied to become kind of the new Avengers, so to speak. And that's kind of the tagline they're giving them. They're the new Avengers. But it's a good story. I like the fact that the movie also takes its time in the character setting and building. And it's such a lost art in so many movies these days. You know, they try and get you to care about the characters of the movie, but they just kind of skip through all the backstory and what makes them something you'd care about. And so very much enjoyed that just the build up, and then it just ends nicely. It's a closed story. It's contained. It's not, yes, there's the promise of something more. But you're not leaving this movie on this total cliffhanger. And so many Marvel movies these days, it feels like they just leave the door open. They make it super obvious this is not, the story's to be continued. And this one, they end it really curtly, nicely. It's just like you walk away from the movie theater feeling like, okay, yeah, no, that was good. So also, yes, Sinners, fantastic movie. Lewis saw that as well recently. Very good. Highly recommend both those movies. Okay, a couple more shows to talk about.
Okay.
Last night, about 10 o'clock, I literally was falling asleep on the couch. And it was like I was going to try and play games. I'm like, no, you know what? I'm just going to call it. I'm going to go to bed. And for whatever reason, after kind of cleaning everything up, and by the way, I'm solo this weekend. My wife is away actually visiting her mother for Mother's Day, so it's just me and the little guy. So I got him down. I'm falling asleep on the couch, and I get this second wind, and I watched a movie on Netflix called Havoc.
We watched this last night as well. That's weird.
Okay, so we were watching it together then. Without. So the way I would describe this movie One, the main character is played by Tom Hardy from, if you've seen Venom, he's the main character. It's very Quentin Tarantino in its violence and action. It's over the top gore in this movie.
Yeah, and some of the car chase scenes look a bit like cartoony, computer graphic.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was intentional or.
I don't. Obviously, there was a conscious effort to make the violence over the top, and so I think it starts much stronger than it ends. The ending of the movie to me felt very like they wrapped it up very quickly, and it was just a weird wrap up to a story build up that actually had me pretty intrigued. So it's good, not great. It's on Netflix, so I mean, go check it out if you're in the mood for a big action, shoot 'em up where there is a lot of blood.
There's plenty of action in it, yeah.
Yeah. And the action, I would say it's over the top, John Wick like, but more Quentin Tarantino gore added to that, if that makes sense. There's a great action sequence that happens inside of a club, and that's really what made me think of John Wick.
Yeah.
But they just take it to such kind of a ridiculous level at some point. I'm just kind of like, okay.
That lassie's protecting. She can kick ass as well, can't she?
Well, and that was where it lost me a little bit, because I'm like, okay, now suddenly everybody's John Wick.
yeah.
And it'll make more sense once you see this movie, of course. But so Havoc on Netflix. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to say it's movie of the year. Mark, is that about where you land
not
with
movie
it?
year, but it's just like you say. It's on Netflix. If you got a Netflix subscription, it's just it's a nice watch to if you want to just kill some time and have a good blast. So yeah, one of our favorite actors is in there as well, isn't there, Greg? Timothy Olyphant.
Oh yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so his character's quite interesting in this. A bit different to what he normally plays.
Agreed. And I kind of wish they had developed his character a little bit more into the story.
Yeah,
I was intrigued by that whole angle, and they kind of gloss over it a little bit. So anyway, last show to talk about Andor season 2. I'm now through 9 episodes. I just will continue to beat this drum. Andor absolutely this is the Star Wars universe I want. It's a live action TV series, and I include Rogue One, by the way, into Andor, because Rogue One is actually the culmination of season 1 and season 2 of Andor. So in terms of sequencing, that's how this all plays out. But they do character development right. They treat the Star Wars universe seriously, not as a way to try and sell you toys or make it kid friendly. And I get it. A lot of people like that angle of Star Wars. I personally, I'm not a kid anymore, right? I like the serious side of Star Wars, and importantly, this is where this just differentiates so much from all of the other series that they put out. You genuinely see the Empire as evil, as and capable evil, and that's an important distinction, because if you think about the Obi-Wan series, I always just laughed every time the stormtroopers were coming into scenes and they were shooting and getting into firefights. They are like bungling Keystone Cops. They can't hit the broadside of the barn. The shots are all going wild everywhere. They just look incompetent. And it's always just struck me, every Star Wars live action series seems to portray the Empire stormtroopers in this light. They just never feel like they are this overwhelming force of evil. And Andor just gets it right. And I don't want to, I'm not spoiling anything, but I will just say this, that they get the serious tone and the evil side of the Empire, and it comes through. And I just really appreciate that. So, again, my praise of Andor will not cease anytime soon. Just fantastic. I don't know. Are any of you watching Andor?
I've
I
not
watched
seen
first
any of
season,
them.
but I haven't
Yeah.
started second one yet. But I'm with you. I did like Andor. So
I really enjoy it. I've watched the first 3 episodes. I started to watch the middle 3. I'm kind of just getting started in that. I really like the way they're going with season 2. I just have to throw out there, if like, I know the animated Star Wars stuff maybe isn't your bailiwick, but you're missing some great content.
No.
You
And
really are.
I did purposely position it as it's the best live action because I do agree with you. Some of the animated stuff actually does a good job of putting the Star Wars universe in a much better light, I think, than a lot of the live action stuff has done.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with you, Mr. Matthew. Yes, I have to say it.
But I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I haven't finished the season yet, but I'm looking forward to where it goes.
All right. Okay. Okay. A couple last things, and then I will shut up, and I'm gonna get the rest of you in. So one, had a really interesting conversation with a colleague of mine from work. My work, we have developed a software package that a lot of the gaming studios use, and it's called Mind Game. And think of it this way: they do kind of this global social listening, monitoring, of every game IP out there. And they're able to understand the trajectory of games and kind of predict how they're going to perform. And it was an interesting conversation because I actually asked about Concord. I said, how did you guys do on Concord? And they actually said, we knew it was not going to do well. We knew it was going to flop. And it's because, they're taking different beats and pulses of these games and kind of where they are in the media zeitgeist, if you will. And so they can kind of project and compare to other games that have really taken off with meteoric rise, such as Claire, Obscure Expedition 33, and then other games that have not. And so just super interesting to see that. But I just got to say this. I almost laughed out loud because the guy that I'm talking to, he actually is formerly from Twitch. Working for Twitch Studios, and he threw out the term normies. And he's like, oh yeah. And then that's what the normies would do. And I just started laughing, and I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, I guess they do really talk like that. So that's the first time I've ever heard normies stated in a business setting. But yeah, so it made me laugh a little bit. Anyway, okay. Last but not least, I have been shopping for. I hadn't really been shopping for a new phone, but we decided to get new phones.
Mm-hmm.
So I previously had a Samsung S20. Had that for obviously 5+ years now. And we were like, it's time. Let's get some new phones. And so the process of getting the new phones on the surface, easy. However, Verizon, who is the carrier that I use, their cloud backup storage, and this is where the big problem came into play. It was supposed to be there for me to be able to download and then upload into Google OneDrive, because that's what I'm going to use moving forward. And the moment we did the quote unquote transition of turning off the Verizon stuff and then turning on the Google One stuff, all of our pictures from Verizon Cloud gone.
No.
I'm like,
oh, no way.
Oh, no.
I'm all, hold on. I'm like, if we just lost everything, I'm going to go ballistic on you. And the guy's like, no. He's like, you have 30 days. Everything's saved. He's like, for some reason you can't access it. So we've got a ticket open. I talked with a guy from support services, and he said, it does happen. He's like, we've got you though. Don't worry. It'll get resolved by this Wednesday. That's the latest timeline. It was a freak out moment. Now, that said, this is my old phone, the S20. I got myself a Flip.
Nice.
The Flip 6. So just for comparison's sake, I thought I'd do a little show and tell. Now Now the Flip 6,
It's
obviously,
basically the same size apart from it folds in half.
yes. So once you fold it out,
Yeah. Nice.
it is about
What's the
the same
durability on the
size.
screen?
It is about the same size. Now the cool thing about the Flip 6, so the screen, you will see a slight there will be a little
Yeah.
bevel in the middle.
Yeah.
But also what's cool is if I
Got a
can get
screen
it
on
to
the
go.
back.
Oh, I'm on the wrong side. Of course, I'm doing this now and it's not wanting to do it. Oh, I'm holding it upside down. That's why.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
right.
Cool.
that's actually the camera for selfies.
Yeah.
But so you can also like catch your messages, your videos, whatever off of that. And then what's nice also is I can have it angled like this and just sit on the desk, and I can literally have a YouTube video up top here.
All right. Yeah.
So far, I like
So
it. So like here's our live stream right now.
Right.
So
yeah.
I could just have it like that.
I know the early ones had a problem with where it bends. Didn't it have a problem with damaging the screen? Has that been fixed now? Or?
Yeah.
I
So
presume it will
so
have.
they say this is now rated to last 6 years.
All right. Okay. That's good.
Hundreds of thousands of opens and closures, blah, blah, blah. They did make the screen a little bit more shiny to help also with being out in, it's shiny to help with the opening and closing, but they raised the brightness of the screen to help with when you're outdoors. So that is a bonus.
Yeah.
I like it. I did encounter one issue, and that is in my old phone, I had this cover, which was great because it was actually a wallet. And so I had my ID and a couple cards in there, and it just became like my phone and my wallet were synonymous.
Can't do that now.
Well, you can, but finding the right one is the issue, because on this one, I could open the cover, and even though I had my ID here, if I put it on a wireless charger, it still would charge. Unfortunately, with the cases so far that I've seen, once you start putting cards in on the backside, it kills the wireless charging based on where the cards go, because you have the one part, which is the screen, which you don't want to cover up. So the wireless charging is down here. That's where your cards would be. So I think I have the solution. It's going to involve a MagSafe wallet adapter. We'll see. I have it. So I this still does not have a cover on it yet. Obviously.
This is wild. You ready? You
Yeah.
ready? It's going to be wild.
Uh-oh.
Plug it in.
Right?
Well, so I thought about that. I did think about that. Don't get me wrong. But the way I have like my bedroom set up, I've got a wireless charger that also has the watch charger on it, because I have a Galaxy 4 watch. So I don't really want to give that up. I can certainly find an alternative solution, but if I can find the right wallet combination, I'll be happy. So it may have
must
just been
admit,
dropped off by Amazon, by the way.
Yeah. I'm like you, Greg. I don't think I've plugged my phone in maybe 2 or 3 times in its life, and I've had it 2.5 years. I've got a wireless charger upside of my bed, and in my car, that's wireless charger. Just put it in the holder and it charges. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a small problem. And yes, I know, get a real wallet. I actually have a real wallet right here.
And he
But
also
the problem
says,
is,
does a crease bother you?
does the crease bother me as in on the phone?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, not at all. It's only noticeable if you really kind of put it in a certain angle. You'll kind of notice the little bit of crease area. So far, I mean, I suppose it could be more pronounced over time. I don't know, but I mean, as is right now, I very much enjoy the phone. It's been a good call. It's also nice to be able to put my phone in my front pocket and not feel like I'm going to stab myself. So there's that.
Go.
Oh, I see the chat. All right. I am going to turn things over now to Mr. Virgin Sucks, Mark Wright. What's been going on in your neck of the woods outside of your terrible, terrible, terrible internet?
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, Virgin still sucks donkey dick, so still not fixed. I had a really nice week off this week. We've had some really nice weather. Tuesday was a bit dull, but we had a lazy day on Tuesday. I just basically played Baldur's Gate all day long. But yeah, really good week. Done. Been out in the garden a lot. Got the garden all tidied up nice. Done a lot of hedge trimming and pruning and making it nice and respectable because it got a bit overgrown.
It's always important you prune, Mark. You don't want to let things get overgrown.
Yeah.
It's.
Is that when you were trimming your bush?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I've got to keep it nice for Shadowheart. Anyway, so on Friday on my birthday, we went to a place called Boundary Mills in Colne in Lancashire. Which is like a big building with like loads of stores inside it. Yeah, it's all right. I've not been for about 20 years there. It was some good stuff. A lot of expensive stuff. You go in like there's some like proper designer t-shirts, and you look at the price of them, you're thinking, I'm not paying that for a t-shirt because I'm a tight ass when it comes to clothes. But I found some decent ones because we're going on holiday in about 6 weeks, so I picked up some nice thin Under Armour t-shirts, and wife got a few bits. There's a nice cafe restaurant upstairs, so we had a nice coffee and a bit of cake. And the balcony of the cafe overlooks all the Lancashire hillsides, which is a beautiful view. And from there,
quick question. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt real fast. On the cake front.
Yes.
What kind of cake did you get? You said we had a bit of cake.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you call it a pastry or a cake. We just call them cakes. Wife had a lemon meringue pie.
Okay.
Like a round single serving one, and I had a egg mayonnaise sandwich and then a chocolate brownie afterwards, and a nice coffee.
So you did not have cake. Your wife had pie.
A chocolate brownie.
That's a brownie.
That's a brownie.
That's a brownie.
By definition, that's a brownie.
It's a cake, isn't it? It's either a biscuit or a cake over here, and it ain't a biscuit.
What did the piece of lemon meringue pie cost? So now I'm curious.
How do we go from a biscuit to a cake to a pudding? What's the difference?
No, don't go there. This is evilness. I'm curious, Mark. What did the lemon meringue pie cost? There's a reason why I'm asking this, by the way.
It was quite cheap actually. But like for like an expensive place, the coffee was quite cheap. Like the coffee I got, normally coffees over here for a decent coffee is about £4.
Mm-hmm.
The coffee were only like £2.50.
Right.
I think the lemon meringue pie was about £3. The brownie was a couple of quid. The sandwich was £3. For
reasonable.
Wife she had a bottle of water. I had a bottle of water. I had a brownie, the egg sandwich, coffee, and she had the lemon meringue. I think it came to £15 for all lot. So
okay, so
pretty reasonable.
So, quick little backstory. When we were out going to see the movie Thunderbolts afterwards, we were like, maybe we go grab some dessert real fast, and then we were like, well, let's just maybe bring it home. So we called up this restaurant called Cattleman's because they have carrot cake that we really like. And my wife just instinctively was like, well, before we just order a bunch of pieces of carrot cake, because she was thinking about bringing some to her mom, she's like, how much is, because we were thinking about getting 4 pieces of carrot cake. She's like, let's ask just how much it is per piece. $10.49 for a piece of carrot cake.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So needless to
make
say,
one cheaper than that.
We decided not to get carrot cake. Anyway, continue on, Mark. Sorry.
So after we finished at the Boundary Mills, we went like across country and went from Lancashire to North Yorkshire to a place called Skipton, which is like a historic town. It's only about 15 miles north of where I live, but it's a beautiful market town with a castle at the top. Nice canal walk, so we had a nice walk around on the canal bank. There was quite a few people paddleboarding in where there's like a mooring section with all the barges. So that was interesting. I didn't see Pete; he wasn't there with his canal barge. But yeah, it was a beautiful day, really sunny, really warm, really nice day. And then we went to a restaurant we've been to quite a few years ago called Calico Jack's. It's got like a pirate theme, but we do a lot of Mexican stuff, and I love Mexican food. So we went there. Yeah, went there. I had we had a nacho starter to share, a big platter, and it was huge. Loads of jalapenos. I love jalapenos. And then Jenny had a steak because she's really fussy when it comes to food, so she doesn't like all fancy or spicy. So she had a steak, and that was really nice. It came with some potato wedges, which we'd never seen cuts like that before. They were like almost changed colour. They were that dark with the. I don't know if I've cooked them in, but they were really nice. And I had beef chili enchiladas. Oh, they were absolutely
Beef
gorgeous.
chili enchiladas. Green
Yeah.
chili enchiladas or
Well, minced beef. Well, it's ground beef, isn't it? What you call it? It's
Right.
beef chili. Yeah, enchiladas.
When you
You
say
can get
beef
chicken
chili,
enchiladas.
here's the issue,
you're
Mark.
saying beef and chilies, like beef with chili peppers? Or are you saying
Right.
like
So it's like chili con carne in a.
okay?
All right. Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Over here we call it slightly different. It's. You have to.
I feel like
simplify
this
it
is
for
just
us
taco
idiots.
meat, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Sounds
minced
delicious.
beef with spices, cooked in spices.
Sounds
as well.
delicious.
Yeah,
It does
but
sound
obviously
delicious.
It had like cheese in it as well, and it had like a sauce on top and cheese and all the sour cream and that on top. Yeah, it was really nice. Really
I'm
enjoyed it.
hungry.
You just have to be careful, Mark, because in the U.S., if you say chili, there are certain sections of our great country that are going to take a lot of offense to the
Right.
term chili.
Right.
Kim lives in one of those areas, which is odd because you
Don't
wouldn't think
take
Canada
offense.
would care about it, but and then Texas, where Lewis is from,
Yeah.
they might shoot you. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They might. They might.
Well, that's what it said on the menu, and I've got a photograph of it to prove it. So yeah, it said beef chili enchiladas. So, yeah, really nice.
Excellent.
And
You never
then
thought
we
you
had
to defend your dinner, did you?
And then there was like an outdoor open air market, so we had a stroll around there after that. Walked off his meal, and then nice drive back, and then we were shattered. We both had a keep, I think, when we got home. So yeah, really good day out.
all right.
TV wise, finished off Gangs of London season 3. Really good, really good. It follows straight on from seasons 1 and 2, and it does come to a bit of a conclusion, but it does leave it open for another season. So really good. I won't spoil it because it's still fresh. Is that one? But yeah, it's got action, violence, good characters in it. Yeah, really highly recommend Gangs of London. I think John Mouse in the chat, I think he's seen a couple of these seasons. Yeah, I think he mentioned it a while ago, and that's why I started watching it. Yeah, really good. And that led me on to my next one, which is in the same vein, same category, which is Mobland on Paramount Plus, which also stars Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's character, he's a fixer for a mob family called the Harrigans. With just 2 episodes in, but so far I'm liking it. It's good. Tom's character is more in tune with Tom Hardy. Have you guys seen the Tom Hardy version of the Cray Twins?
No.
Oh, you need to see that. I think it's called Legend. That is a
Okay.
fantastic movie. It plays both Reggie and Ronnie Cray, which are London gangsters from the 60s, I think. But yeah, it's good in this. It's so calm and when under pressure, but still threatening and scares the shit out of you when he threatens you in a calm manner. It's really clever how they've done it. It's really good. Pierce Brosnan, the old James Bond guy, he's the main mob leader of the family in this, and he puts on an Irish accent in this, along with Helen Mirren. Have you seen the Yellowstone prequel, 1923? Where Helen Mirren's in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the same Irish accent. Doesn't work.
Okay.
The Irish accent's terrible.
Yeah. I mean,
But apparently,
people from
I've
Ireland.
been looking
I'm just
online.
saying.
Yeah. Apparently, Pierce Brosnan does have Irish heritage, and the area he's from, their dialect is like that. So I don't know. I'm not from Ireland, so but yeah, it does seem forced and unnatural. And his normal accent keeps popping through, like you do when you're trying to put an accent on. Your normal accent comes through naturally. Yeah, but yeah, so far so good. 2 episodes in. The story's winding up now, and it's got some good violent scenes on it. So yeah, very good. Recommended.
Speaking of accents,
for me.
that you wouldn't think, you posted a TikTok video the other day, Mark, of Ironsides, Michael Ironsides.
Oh yeah.
And
He's been interviewed by a local lad to us,
Yeah.
Francis.
Yeah, shocking though to hear him not using it. I always think of again Tom Clancy, all of the stuff he's in there, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's from Canada.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah, it was very offended when he was called American.
Yeah,
Yeah. And he swears like a trooper, a starship trooper. Yeah,
he does.
Every
does.
other sentence was F this and F that. But yeah, it was a good laugh. He's in his 70s now, isn't he? 77 or something? Yeah, a legend. Legend is on outright.
All right.
Yeah, very good.
All right. Excellent. Speaking of legends, Fort Ticonderoga, is that near you, Mr. Matthew?
It's not far. It's I'd have to look at the map to see. It's a day trip.
I bring this up because actually yesterday is the anniversary of the colonial forces taking Fort Ticonderoga from the British forces without firing a shot. So it's a infamous moment in our history, and I just wanted to bring that up to spite Mark.
That one and crossing the frozen river on Christmas Eve to kill people to sleep.
Yeah.
Get things done, I guess.
Good times. What's going on with you, Mr. Matthew?
The end of the year madness continues. We have I don't know how other jobs are. I've never had any other job, but in the military, when someone leaves, you formally say farewell to them. We have an event where everybody who's leaving, you say some nice things about them, usually present them with some type of memento of their time in the organization, and then they kind of get a few minutes to speak and just kind of say their thoughts about their assignment. Usually everybody has some nice things to say. Last year we did have one guy leave last year who just kind of gave everyone the middle finger on the way out the door, which
nice.
Is a way. It's a way. But that was a nice time. We did it at the American Legion. So for our overseas listeners, the American Legion is a veterans organization. So the veterans will join an American Legion post. They do community service. It's just kind of a way for veterans to connect to each other and continue to provide some service around their communities. But each post will generally have a big dining room where they rent out for formal events. That's kind of the way they raise money. But they also have a bar. There's always a bar in the post, and it's usually pretty inexpensive. But the selection is limited. So I went up to the bartender and I said, "Hey, do you have the makings of an old?" And she was probably 70, just a volunteer from the post. I was like, "Do you have the makings of an old fashioned?" And she just looks at me. She goes, "Well, I got bourbon." And I was like, "Bourbon it is." I don't have oranges. I don't have cherries. I don't have syrup. I was like, "Well, how about just an old fashioned minus the oranges, cherries, and syrup?" So it's kind of, you can get whatever you want at that bar as long as it comes in a shot glass or they have it on tap is kind of the rule. But we had
it's my kind of bar for the record. That's good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it's always fun hanging out with other vets in that setting. But since Katie and I are both active duty, we get to do all those things twice. So last week was the week of all these events. We had her unit had one on Tuesday and mine on Thursday, and the kids had an end of the year thing at school on Wednesday. So it just keeps going. It just keeps going. And the end of the semester has finally arrived. Friday was the last day of classes. So yay.
Okay. Free.
Yeah. Well, we got exam week this week. So
not
free. Yeah. I mean, I don't have to worry about exam week. I just have to hand them the exam and say good luck, right? So that's.
So here's a question. If you are failing your students by a large amount, is that an indictment on you or the students, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. If too many students are failing your class, then someone's going to come and take a close look at how you're doing things.
Okay. If
you are doing things correctly, where you are clearly communicating what is expected, you're staying within. So at the university, so I'm teaching a 3-credit-hour course, right? Which means I'm allowed 120 contact hours with the students throughout the semester. 30 of those or 40 of those are in class and 80 hours outside of class. And as long as I am staying within that, and clearly communicating what it is that they are expected to be able to do, then I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't anticipate anybody's going to fail my class. Everyone's doing pretty well, and it's a small enrollment class. There's only about 50 students, and they're all seniors, so they kind of know what they're doing by now. But yeah, I mean, it has happened. There was years and years and years ago, one of the larger enrollment classes had about a 15% failure rate, and that turned some heads. So like, hey, whoa, what's going on over there? And then that leads to some changes.
Is that code word for dismissal of teachers?
No, it really isn't. Because,
or is it code word for code red?
No, none of that either. We did not order the code red. You're darn right, I did. We did not order any code reds. But you take a careful look at what it is, what your expectations are. Make sure they're reasonable expectations. Understanding where your students are in their development. If you're teaching freshmen, you can only expect so much of them, right? Because they've just come from high school. They're used to doing things one way. It's not vastly different once they get to freshman year, but there are different expectations. A little bit more of learning on your own, a little bit less of coming to class and me telling you exactly what it is that you're supposed to do, and a little bit more of you getting in the textbook, trying to figure it out, and come to class and ask me questions and we talk about it. But yeah, so we do try very hard to be fair.
Okay.
And the fact of the matter is that the Army's counting on us for 1,000 lieutenants every year, so we gotta push them through.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I have a question for you.
I won't say push them through. We have to help them achieve the standard.
That is so politically correct, and it's it. That was good. That's a good spin. I like it. So totally unrelated, but it is now just I can't see it properly. What is that over your right shoulder on the windowsill?
All right. So Mark said he might be talking about the new Dune game, and
nice.
To be prepared for that, I brought my Lego House Atreides Ornithopter.
Wicked. All right.
He's sitting in the background. So
nice.
It's got I lost I shouldn't say I lost. I temporarily misplaced the little figures. I'm gonna slide back a little bit so the wings all fold out. There you go. And so it's ready to fly, and then when you're ready to land it, the wings all kind of fold back in. Yeah. So that's there in case we decide to talk about Dune.
I love it. All right. Okay. Question asked, question answered, and surprisingly, I wasn't sure what it was because so in transparency, on my end, on my monitor, I have all of our windows up in the right corner of my widescreen monitor, so it's a little smaller, so it's hard for me to make out what that was.
Yep.
And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I think that's some kind of ship. I'm not positive. So, okay.
The lighting's not great on it either. Speaking of some kind of ship, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How's your Slave One model going?
It is.
I can see it down the bottom.
Right there, as a matter of fact.
All right. Are you all done? Oh, I see it. Are you all done with it?
I am done with it. I am done with it. I elected not to try and create fire for the back end of the ship.
All right.
Was going to be a more difficult task than I thought needed. So
yeah, I heard you guys talking about that week I wasn't on. Oh, look at that.
Oh,
but
nice. I also brought my Lego Slave One.
Very nice.
Now this is what we call a play scale Lego. If you're a Lego fan, it has what we call swooshability. So it's got this little handle on the back because the
swooshability.
Yeah.
All right.
So you got like this Dune set behind me is not swooshable. If you try to pick it up and play with it, parts are going to start flying off everywhere. Right. But it's more for display. But this one's for the kids, right? Like, or big kids like me. And so since the fire spray flies forward like that, right? It's got this little handle on the back, but then you can fold the handle in because the fire spray lands like that.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
You got a little compartment that opens up there, and inside that compartment, if it cooperates, is a little Han Solo frozen in carbonite, and behind it is actually a Han Solo minifig because why not?
Oh, how funny! So I
yeah.
did have the Han Solo Frozen and Carbonite for the model because you could configure it to be landed with the loading bay open. I elected
Yep.
not to do that, so Han Solo and Carbonite went in the garbage.
Oh, I would have.
It was just a little plastic piece.
Little tiny.
Yeah. What
That's
I've come to
cool.
the conclusion, especially on these models that are they're like the 1/64th size or whatever, or 1/16th size. Characters trying to paint them is challenging, to say the least.
Yeah, you gotta have a magnifying glass and little tiny brushes.
Super tiny brush, and I don't have the patience for that. So my Boba Fett is a bit of a green, little red globbiness.
Little guy.
Yeah, it's representative.
You gotta find your Warhammer 40K friends and just see if one of them will paint it for you.
See, the Warhammer 40K stuff, that's big enough to. So I actually have a Boba Fett model that I will be making. So the actual Boba Fett, that's my next project actually. So yeah, I'm all for something that's a little on the bigger side. No problem trying to do that. This and I'll in fact, when we get into the video stuff, I'll break it out of the. Well, in fact, I'll break it out of the case in just a second. We'll turn to Kim unless you have more to talk about, Mr. Matthew.
No, that's.
Well, I was just going to say a couple of weeks ago when I was off the show, you guys were talking about the models, and
Yes.
Chris mentioned about using the cotton wool and LEDs inside it. Now, I've not seen it with ships, but I've seen it with a dragon, and it was simulating dragon breathing fire. It had orange LEDs and the cotton wool balls, and then when it was all lit up, it just looked so realistic. So I think that'd be really cool on your model ships.
Don't get me wrong.
You need-
It would be. Two challenges to that. One, because it's in the case there.
Yeah.
So
Powering
the
it
LEDs,
on and off.
powering it up. Usually they're on like a battery pack that operates the LEDs. It's a smaller thing, so that's not terribly conducive to that setup. And then two, because of where it is in the case, seeing it is also going to be kind of hidden behind it. So I was like,
So on that grey unit behind you, then you want to get a bigger ship, another ship like Millennium Falcon, and have some of that on there.
There's stuff to be made, and I may start switching the levels out and where they're at. So that's all forthcoming. But anyway, all right, let's turn to Kim. I'll grab it out of the case while Kim starts talking. That's your cue, Kim.
Really? No.
Yeah,
All right. It's been pretty quiet this week. We did have I got some new lawnmowers, kind of. We were sitting there eating breakfast yesterday morning, and me and Dad were talking. He was getting ready to go to work, and all of a sudden I looked out past his vehicle, and I saw this big, like, dark brown thing moving behind it. And all of a sudden, my first thought was, "Oh shit, our horses are out." Sure enough, our two horses had decided. Well, the main horse, Junior, he's still a stud, had decided he was going to paw at the panel, and when he pawed at the panel, because my dad is terrible when it comes to our horses, he just realizes they're big dogs and they're going to be fine, so he just kind of hooks the panel over the other panel and leaves it at that. Meanwhile, I'm paranoid with a big piece of wire, and I'm like twisting it around about 6 times going, yeah, they're not getting out of that. But what the deal was is Junior had pawed at the panel enough that he had either broke the wire Dad had hooked over it or bumped it enough that it unhooked itself. And the panel came open. And, of course, Junior's like, grass is always greener on the other side, right? And out he goes. So, and it was funny because our other horse, Copper, was actually still in the pen. And he didn't actually come out till Dad went out there with horse feed to get them back in. So, but he's broke and he's fine. And like I said, basically they are tame enough. They are like big dogs. But you still want to, because we live next to a highway, so you definitely want to keep them corralled in so there's no big accident or anything. So that was interesting because I always get paranoid when they get out. So
I thought you were going to say you've got some goats, and when you said
I get right. No,
because they're really good at keeping your grass short out with goats.
Yeah, but they're creepy and they shit everywhere. And
I love a little pygmy goat. I wanted years ago. I wanted a pygmy goat, and Jenny won't let me.
No, I've had pygmy goats too, and yeah, they get big and they get ugly too. So no. So no, that was my little heart attack yesterday. I'm just sitting there drinking my coffee, eating my breakfast, and I look over and there's Junior behind Dad's car, and I'm like, he's not supposed to be there. So yeah. And it was a good week music-wise for me. Sleep Token and Kaleo put out new albums this week, so I pretty much listened to them all weekend. And other than that, the kids get out of school on the 15th, and that's when my summer vacation starts because their dad will be up to pick them up actually on the 15th because Anthony graduates 6th grade, and his graduation is that night. So yeah, so he'll be picking them up on the 15th, and I won't have any kids until at least July. So
No.
happy vacation to me, I guess. You know,
yeah.
That's pretty much all that's been going on with me this week. So
Okay.
no cats. Amazingly, no cat stories. So there you go.
No cat stories. No dead raccoons. The world is calming apparently.
Apparently, but the horses got out, and that was enough to send me into a spiral for a little bit there. But hell,
I
Dad
can
went out
understand
there
that.
with
That
buckets.
is actually a very large problem. Literally.
Yes, like I said, especially where I live, right next to a highway. The last thing you want
Yeah.
is for something to get out there and get hit and all that. But no, hell, Dad went out there with a feed bucket. Hell, they followed him right back in, and I'm like, I looked at Dad when he came in, and this is kind of the funny part. He came back in, and I looked at him, and I said, "You didn't wire the panel shut, did you?" And he says, "Well, I kind of hooked it." And I said, "Yeah, exactly, but you're over there yelling at me because I'm over there paranoid, just twisting the fucking wire closed like 6 times so they don't get out." And I'll be damned if before he left for work, I mentioned something about, "I'll keep the wild Mustangs in." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I still need to go out there and wire that shut." I said it, and he's already been out, and he did all the rest of the chores after getting them back in. And I'm like, "You didn't even bother to wire the fucking panel shut after you..." Okay. Dad, I think we're going to have to look into getting you in a nursing home or something because you're slipping.
Things you don't want to deal
Like
with.
that. Right? Yeah, because I think of you every time I see a commercial for that Places for Mom deal, and I kind of chuckle, and I'm like, yeah,
I don't know how to
Peg
take
knows
that,
all
Kim.
about that.
I'm not sure.
Just with all the issues you've had with it, and they called you like forever. Are
Oh,
they
yeah.
still calling you?
Yeah,
Oh.
one of the worst things I ever did. I mean, it just you get on
Right.
this list and they're relentless.
Yep.
They
Right.
are relentless.
Yep.
Real
hear you.
quick, because I said I would grab it. So that is my Slave 1. So I don't know
Nice.
if you can see. So the interesting thing about this build, you see those dark green panels.
Yep.
Those actually, you glue those in. There was no rhyme or reason why those panels were just there. It's like model builders sometimes, I think, just give you busy work, and this happens to be busy work. But one of the things I have learned, I don't know if it's hard to see. So there is a special kind. It's a paint, but it's designed for all the intricate little panels. You see how they stand out on the model. You just drop a little drop of it into one of the sections, and it just spreads out across all of the lines, and it's awesome for shipbuilding. It really kind of brings the detail of the ship to life. But yeah, this model in particular, the majority of the build is all in the undercarriage and this inner part, and then this unit up here was actually fairly simple to build. But yeah, so I do like building models. They are fun. Okay, where are we at in the show? We've done story time. We do have a question. It's not really a question from the community, but Mr. Matthew, you correctly called this out. We did have a comment from the community. Please share.
So Amaranth Nicole says, "Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there." Not a question, just a comment. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there if you're listening.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, you know what?
Today I feel like playing computer games. Today I feel like playing computer games.
Okay, before we get into the games, we're going to get into games. I know, Mr. Matthew, you did some updating to our master document, but Kim, this is your specific section, or one of them, I should say. So, also, I'd just like to point out, I think this is the first time ever I missed a calendar unveil.
You did. You did.
It's a moment in time.
I know you're sad.
Reflection. Anyway, let's talk about what's coming this week in terms of games that we get to pay for that come to us for free. Kim?
All right, you just start with the Game Pass ones because we already talked about the PlayStation ones
We
last
can.
week.
This is your section. Lead as you will. Do as you
Oh,
want.
all right. That's a dangerous prospect. Anyway, for Game Pass for this month, we have Dredge. That's out for cloud, PC, and the Xbox, of course. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Dungeons of Hinterberg, Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. The Siege of Dawn. I didn't say John, I swear to God. Metal Slug, I don't know, maybe. Metal Slug Tactics, Revenge of the Savage Planet, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutants Unleashed, Warhammer Vermintide 2, which actually I played the first Vermintide at least for a little bit. Those are actually pretty good. One I'm sure most people are excited for. I kind of am, even though I wasn't a big Doom fan, but that's Doom, The Dark Ages. It'll be out the 15th. Poolbra and the Souls of Limbo. Firefighting Simulator, The Squad. Or there's simulators out for everything now. Police Simulator, Patrol Officers. So that's your Game Pass, and we'll skip down to batch 3 of our Prime games for this month. We have Saints Row, Gat Out of Hell, Endless Legend Definitive Edition, Golf with Your Friends, or not. Anyway, Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen 2, Mail Time. For our other batch here, for the 22nd, we have Fate, Thief 2, The Metal Age, and Everdream Valley, Chess-A-Rama, The Lost Ashford Ring. I suppose they probably ought to find that. I assume it's important. And then, let's see. Oh, and for your Epic games, which are still available for the next few days, we have Dead Time Defenders and Touch Type Tail. So, there you go.
Touch Type Tail.
Yes.
I had a quick look at that on Epic Games. Yeah. Oh. So it's basically it was like a map and there's like different words. I presume you type as fast as you can to unlock different areas. Because I've seen another game where, I've seen another one where you got like a point of view thing and you're going through this house and there's zombies coming at you, and all of a sudden a word will pop up on screen. You have to type the word as fast as you can. If you get it right, you shoot the zombie. If you don't, the zombie attacks you. Can't remember what it was called.
I'd be dead in 5 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't.
It's to help you. It's to help you learn touch typing. So yeah.
Yeah, I
cool.
still fail.
Okay. You know, typing skills underrated, and they don't really teach typing anymore. I don't even know if they offer it in schools.
You know, I'll have to ask. They used to when I was in school, but I got so pissed off because the typing teacher was more interested in flirting with the boys, so I quit. Anyway.
I don't think you need to teach typing anymore, because have you seen young kids on mobile phones these days? They're like, they can type a text message in like a millisecond. What is it then?
That's
it is, isn't it?
Thumbing, texting. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. No, like typing on a keyboard. It is an acquired skill, and being able to type without looking at the keyboard is the most important skill you could ever have, if you ask me.
Right.
Especially in a professional setting, but it's just it's a lost art.
No, I get it. I just can't. I'm a PEC typist, so.
I still remember the days of typing class. Mr. Matthew, you may have also gone through this. Kim, maybe as well, but T.
Oh yeah. No, like I said, I took a few days of typing before I figured out she wasn't going to teach me how to type. But anyway.
Home keys. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Home keys. Yep.
All right. Let's talk about actual video games now that we've been playing. Where do we want to start? We will start with Mark.
So I applied a while ago for the closed beta for Dune Awakening. I've seen a few clips of it on YouTube and Twitch, and it looked quite interesting. I got an email about 2:00 this afternoon saying you've been invited to this closed beta weekend, although the weekend's nearly over. But luckily, it doesn't finish till the 13th, so I've got a couple of days. So I managed to get an hour, about an hour and a half on it tonight, just before the show. So it's like an MMO type thing. So it's like basically Rust in the Dune universe, if you've ever played Rust. So it's like a survival, crafting, building type game. It starts off with your character creation and like an intro story, which is quite interesting. The graphics are really nice, apart from obviously the setting is very brown because it's a desert setting, so there's a lot of sand. So yeah, colour wise it's bland in that respect, but you wouldn't expect anything else because of the setting. So yeah, it opens up with your character. You choose your character's background, which I presume will tie into the story later. Depending on what character you pick, the background you get like an ability. So I picked one where you've got like a grapple hook. There's other ones, I can't remember what they were. The sound is really good. So when you're actually in the open world bit and you're running around on the sand bit and you have to get to the rock, because all of a sudden you'll hear the sandworm and the screen will shake and the sand will like get this haze on it, this shimmer. So you know there's a sandworm somewhere nearby, but the sound of it is so good. So yeah, it puts the willies up you. Yeah, you definitely want to get off the sand quick.
Okay.
So
I
didn't realize
I pulled up, by the way, some video of Dune Awakening. I think this is like the intro
This is the intro, yeah. So this is where you've just created your character and you're coming down to the planet, but you're on a prison ship, and this guy just shoots you down, and you wake up in the crash there. So that's where it sort of like starts from. So at first I didn't know it was like a Rust type thing. I thought it was a single player. So it's like Conan Exiles, but I know it's got PvP in it because I've seen it on Twitch. I've seen some guys battling, but I didn't know. I thought I was an extra mode, but it isn't. So when I was running around, I saw a couple of people, and because I'd only just started, I thought, well, if they're established, they're gonna kill me and rob me. So I like hid from them. But you could see some people typing in the chat saying hello and stuff, but I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know the keys, so I couldn't type anything. I found out what it was later. But I've got some resources. As you progress, you unlock research. So I were able to research how to create a knife. I were able to create the suit what you wear in the desert. Can't remember the name. The guys you're looking for. Can't remember the name of them now. Some men in it.
I don't know the Dune universe at all, so
yeah,
maybe Christopher
that's
Matthew
it.
does.
Fremen, yeah, the Fremen. So you create a Fremen suit to protect you from the heat and that, and you retain your moisture. You have to keep drinking, so that is an important part of the game. So staying out the heat. You can go into the shade. You get a heat meter on the top of your hood. You can get dew off of plants, which will fill your water meter up to 1 level. But once it's got to that, you can't go anymore. You have to go into camps and buildings and get the water from water sources to get your water higher up. But you do consume it really quick. You don't have to eat. You just have to consume water. You have to stay hydrated or your health goes down. You can craft bandages quite easily from plant fibers you can collect, so it's quite easy to get stuff like that. And then the next thing I unlocked was making a weapon by getting scrap metal, and then you craft a weapon and these dart things, so I was able to arm myself. And then it got to the point where the next thing, part of the tutorial, that's where you just landed and you're injured on the stream now.
Right.
So yeah, so then you're able to craft a this like cutter gun, a bit like in Dead Space type thing, so where it can like cut things.
Okay.
So you press the right mouse button and it will scan the object. If it's a rock or a piece of metal, it'll have once you've scanned it, it has a blue line across it. And then what you do is you press the left mouse button and it shoots a laser, and you follow the blue line and it breaks open that rock or that piece of metal, and you gather the granite or the scrap metal resources from that. So it's quite an interesting way to gather resources. And then I crafted the gun, and now I've managed to plant a beacon, and then this beacon is your respawn area. It's like having a bedroll in Dragon Wilds or in Enshrouded.
Okay.
And then you can put down I can't remember what it's called. This like main. It's like an altar in Enshrouded. So once you put this thing down, you can build your base in that vicinity. So I managed to put down some foundation blocks and some walls, and I was just about to do the rest of the walls and a door and a roof. I'd run out of granite, so I left the bit where I was, went down, got some more granite resources using my cutter gun, got back to where I was building. I went into the construction option with the construction gun, what you crafted, and I had no option to build the different blocks. It just went into this funny green line menu. and I couldn't build anything, and it was frustrating. No matter what I did, I couldn't do anything. And then by that time, it was like 7:30, and I thought I better come off for the podcast.
Could that
So-
be like they're limiting the beta?
No, because I came across a building, and I thought it was I thought it was a building in the game, and I managed to get in through the top. There's like a skylight bit with a ladder. The rest of it, he said you've no access. And when I was inside, I realised someone's fucking built that. I'm in someone's house here. So if they catch me, they're gonna kill me. So I quickly legged it out there. You couldn't. We had like storage chests and all sorts of stuff inside. You couldn't access any of it. It said no access, so I couldn't nick anything. I suppose if you got certain pieces of equipment later on in the game, you might better damage it, blow it up, because my character's a demolition guy, so I presume I can do explosives later on when I unlock it. But looking at the skill tree and the research tree, there's a lot to unlock. But yeah, this building I was in, it was like 3 stories high. It had automatic doors, it had ladders in it, there's all sorts of machinery inside for crafting things. So yeah, I'm going to be quite involved. But yeah, I've only had an hour and a half on it, so quite cut short. So I might do a bit tomorrow night after work. But yeah, it finishes 1:00 Pacific time on the 13th. So basically, that's Monday night for me, isn't it? It's going to be over.
All right. I mean, do you foresee yourself? Is this something you might try to play once it comes out? I mean,
it might be actually, because it's a beautiful setting. If you like the Dune movies and the Dune universe, it's going to be a must buy. I like this sort of game, survival, crafting, building, because I love Enshrouded. I love Dragon Wilds. We played a lot of Rust back in the day with Gary and Nicole, and Kim, I think, was on there. No, you not play Rust, Kim. Well, yeah, I know. There's a funny clip going around. It's 15 years old now of me and Gary. Nicole, when you logged off, your character was left on the floor asleep, and me and Gary were messing about, and I accidentally set Nicole on fire. And I tried putting the fire out, and I ended up shooting her, and she died and lost a lot of shit. So she wasn't happy. But yeah, it was a video online. Gary recorded it, the bastard. So,
okay, so you're trying to put the fire out, and you shot her?
I didn't mean to.
But what were you trying to put the fire out with? Their gun?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember. It was that long ago. So yeah, so it was funny.
Let me help you up with my sword. I mean, that's just,
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right.
But yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be a big game. The other thing, what puts me off, what I like about Enshrouded and Dragon Wilds, is they don't have PvP. This has got PvP in it, so that's the other thing I'm worried about. Because I have seen a couple of streamers playing it. I know Shroud's been playing it and Summit, and they've been killing other players, so that worries me a little bit. But because that happens in Rust. I remember this is going back 15 years. This Fraser played a lot of this with Duke and me and Nicole and Gary DeFelice, and Fraser created this building which was a trap. So as soon as people went in, there was a switch panel on the floor, the door locked behind them, and they were trapped in this building. And then Fraser just robbed them and just left them to die. It was so funny. But yeah, that was a long time ago.
Okay.
So the other main,
I was gonna say, I don't remember Fraser killing his friends, or setting them on fire, but
yeah, mine was accidental. I still blame Gary. The other game I've played this week, and I played a lot of this week while I've been off. I think Tuesday I must have spent 10 hours on this, which is the time-sucking succubus, which is called Baldur's Gate 3.
I mean, this is
Kim
where we should bring,
hooked.
I think, all three of you into the conversation.
Kim has got me hooked on this big time now. I'm even dreaming dice rolls.
Yeah.
Thinking, do I need to go for a wee?
Let's dice rolls. That's
I'll roll a dice whether I'm going to go to the toilet at 2:00 in the morning. So yeah, this game is huge.
What happens if you roll a 1?
I piss the bed.
Piss the bed? All right.
Critical
like,
fail.
again.
I just piss the bed. Yeah. If I roll a natural 20, I can aim from the bed into the toilet. That's how good it is.
All right.
But yeah, so oh god, so I am still in Act 1, and I am 45 hours in. I am exploring everywhere. I do not want to miss anything. And I know Chris mentioned to get to Act 2, you go either through the Underdark or the Mountain Pass. So I went the Underdark path, and I did all the stuff in the Underdark. I met the Myconids, is it?
Mhm.
And I did their missions, and they did all the dancing for me, and that was cool. Took out all the Dwegas and stuff, and I went to the Grim Forge. I crafted the 2 items with the Adamite, is it? I can't remember what material you get. And the first time I crafted the first one, I didn't expect that fucking big dude popping out. And I struggled with that at first, and I had to cheat, and I looked online how to beat him. And Kim gave me some advice, but you basically use the main drop hammer in the forge, and that's like takes his health off big time. So yeah, I defeated him. I sacrificed Gale in the process. I used Gale as bait in the middle because he will target he will target the prime target for whoever does the most damage. So I got Gale to stand on the middle of a hammer thing, shoot his magic missile, and this robot thing went, right, you're my prime target. I let him go over to him, and I got Lae'zel to drop the hammer, and poor Gale got squished. He didn't die though. I did revive him, so all's good.
By the way, I just have random.
Yeah, but see, I did it
footage up
without
on
using
screen.
the hammer. So.
Yeah, and you said there's an achievement for that. I didn't know that, so
Yeah.
I'll have to do that on my second playthrough. So I was just about to travel to Act 2, and Kim says, well, haven't you done the Mountain Pass? And I says, well, I thought once you go to the Mountain Pass, it takes you to Act 2. She said, oh no, there's a whole bit with a monastery and the creche. And I thought, Lae'zel wants to go to the creche because she thinks she can cure our little tadpoles.
Yeah.
So I did the Mountain Pass then, and that's where I am now. I'm in the old monastery, and I'm doing that puzzle where you have to collect the weapons and put them on them pedestals.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got 2 of them now. I'll find the third one. Well, yes, it's so good. I'm getting used to the combat now, and I'm getting used to the tactics of the combat, and I'm not suffering as much. I'm still taking a lot of damage on each battle, but I'm not losing guys anymore. So I'm not having to use the revive scrolls or pay withers to revive them. So yes, I'm doing okay. My favorite character.
This is, by the way, I'm just going to interject real fast.
Yeah.
This is, by the way, the proper turn-based combat. Tactics turn-based combat is the right RPG combat system.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is
getting you guys in
foreshadowing,
the right place.
by the way.
Yeah. Getting like if you're using a ranged guy, getting him on the high ground, using your environment like the barrels. Really good. So yeah, my favourite companion so far, Karlach. I love her Beast Rage mode. She's got so much strength and power, and because she can hit twice now, she's got 2 actions.
Everybody loves
she
a
can
strong
take
woman.
out. Yeah, she can take out most of the enemies. My paladin's quite powerful now as well, so I can take out. I got 2 actions now, so I can do quite a lot of damage. And I keep switching between Lae'zel and Shadowheart, and I usually take Gale most of the time. But in the monastery, I haven't taken Gale. I've let him have a rest. So, but yeah, I like Gale and his Kim will like this. I like Gale's magic missile. That's quite a powerful tool.
Can't beat the old magic missile, Mark.
Yeah. Although he's such an amazing character, and some of his quips are fantastic. I haven't used Astarion as much as I want to. So, and I've also
a bit of an
recruited
ass,
Halsin.
from what I understand. So there's that.
Yeah.
No,
I've recruited Halsin. Yeah, Halsin's in my camp now, but he can't join my group yet. But Kim says I think you could do that in Act 2. So, because I'm interested to see what the druid can do with the shape shifting and that.
You could make love to him in bear form. Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh my god! Did you hear the thing I ran about last week, Greg, with the bugbear and the yoga?
I did.
Village. Oh my god! Yeah. You open the door and this guy's like this bugbear standing back, going, "Ooh, sorry," and this ogre's bent over. Oh my god!
You ruined a romantic moment, Mark. Let it happen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's like walking in on your parents. Yeah. Things you don't want to see.
Yeah, well, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, this game has got so much depth. And I was saying to Kim, every time you play this, it'll be different. I don't think you could have 2 same playthroughs. You'll have the same storylines,
right?
But I think each interaction is going to be different. It's just so good.
All right.
So good.
So since we're talking about this, I know both Kim and Mr. Matthew, Chris, you both play this game. Chris, I don't know if I didn't look on your notes if you were actually currently invested in Baldur's Gate 3, or if you kind of transitioned a little bit.
No, I
think you've
haven't
transitioned a
played
little.
it. Haven't played Baldur's Gate in a little while.
Okay.
I did spend many hours with it a few months ago, but I've been playing some other things. I have yet to actually finish the campaign. Someday maybe. It's a lot. It's a lot. And like Mark, I try to explore everything, and there's a lot.
Kim calls
I don't
you
know.
guys
Kim's got like
wusses.
3.
I know she's on the third playthrough.
She's got 3
I think.
playthroughs. Yeah.
I've
All
got
good.
actually I have 5.
That's
Oh, wow.
okay, Kim.
How do you
Seek
keep
help.
track?
Seriously. This is now troubling.
Really different classes. So I mean, and I'm trying to multi-class now. So that's that's new, and I'm actually
I
playing on
almost
balance
feel
mode.
bad. There's a part of me that's starting to worry about turning you guys on to turn-based tactics games, and the fact that you guys have just taken it to like water.
Yeah.
I'm excited on one hand,
Yeah.
but now getting worried on the other.
I mean,
I'll tell you how bad it is. Because I love Baldur's Gate 3 that much. Jay bought me Baldur's Gate 2 for my birthday. And then I bought Divinity Original Sin 2 on CD keys for a couple of quid. So I've got them 2 lined up as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, a lot of turn-based RPG action to come.
so
And I
in
know we have
fairness,
Divinity. We have Original Sin on
turn-based-
Xbox, don't we?
Yes.
Yep.
In fairness to turn-based RPGs, I think I was introduced to that with XCOM UFO Defense, which I think was the game of the year in 1993. So it's been a little while, So
Yeah.
do not cite the old magic to me, which
Well, not that original XCOM, but the XCOM Enemy Unknown. When that came out, Greg was raving about that. I don't know if we game shared then, but you
Yeah.
convinced me to get that, and I played that on Xbox. And I didn't think it was my sort of game, but I loved it, and I finished that one, but I haven't finished XCOM 2. I need to go back to that, and I've got that on PC because I think it came in a humble bundle.
Yeah.
Really good. And when I went to EGX, I can't remember which year it was, I saw that Narcos Cartels,
yes,
which
yeah.
is based on the TV series. That's a turn-based thing, similar to XCOM, and that's really good.
I will
bought that
just
on
say
Xbox.
this: all turn-based
Mutant Zero
RPGs
Dawn.
are not the same. There are levels of quality,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but that Mutant Zero Dawn, that was really good. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that was good. I would
yeah.
agree. All right, Kim, real fast, since we're talking Baldur's Gate 3, I'm gonna kind of condense all of the conversation as much as possible.
Gotcha. Which is probably a good idea considering.
Well, so who are you loving this week?
It's the same every week.
Is it really though? I feel like you're becoming a little bit of a Baldur's Gate hussy. You've got different love
Kiss
interests.
Shadowheart.
No, I am just Gale. I mean, I can't get with Astarion. I screwed Astarion once, and it felt like a freaking transaction. And I'm like, okay, that's just, So that was it. So I'm sticking with Gale. And I don't get the big Coulson thing. I don't know. He just doesn't do anything for me. Poor Astarion. He's just my bitchy best friend, and we're good with that. So no,
Excuse me.
Right. Oh dear. Like I said, I've got 5 different playthroughs with like 5 different classes going on because, I like the sorcerer or the wizard one because then Gale gives you a bunch of shit because either if you're a sorcerer, you didn't have to actually study magic, you just kind of have it. So then he's got issues with that. And that makes it fun. Other than that,
Talk to us about multi-class. What's this multi-class thing?
Oh yeah, multi-classing. We're like, okay, Gale. He's a wizard, but then in one of them, I also made him a bard, so he can play a violin. And I don't know, I'm just playing around with it because it seems, because I don't know. You get
Okay,
skills
so
from one class to another. Right.
So I'm assuming you multi-classed him not so he could just play violin. I'm assuming there's other perks too.
No, there's other perks to it. I
Okay.
just thought, when you had to pick an instrument for him to play, I just figured he'd seem like the guy that would play the violin as opposed to the lute and some of the others.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's because you get a little bit of something from all the class or whichever classes you pick. So I thought, and being on balanced mode, it is a bit harder than playing in mark mode. So I figured having the extra skills would be helpful.
Now,
like trying to
So I'm going to ask you
Yes.
for detail here, Kim. And Mr.
Okay.
Matthew, you may chime in. Mark, I'm assuming you won't know this yet.
No, he's still Mark.
On the multi-class, so when you are you're multi-classing a character, this is straight out of D&D, by the way. So you in essence are giving them a secondary class, but I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, more or less you have taken, say, let's say it was a wizard, right? You've taken that character, they're like a level 5 wizard. You make them multi-class. Their level 5 wizard kind of capabilities stay with them, but they start a new class at 0, and they're no longer leveling up the wizard side. Is that accurate?
You every time you level up, you can choose to either level up your existing class, or you can add another class.
Okay.
You can actually take one level in all 12 classes if you want to.
Okay.
Right.
So jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense.
Which I didn't think about till today, but yeah. So
I
that's
didn't
what
even know
that's what I'm working on now. So
Yeah, I didn't even know multi-classing was a thing until Kim told me. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm in Explorer easy mount mode, so I don't have an option.
Just be careful how you multi-class, Mark.
But my second playthrough, I'm definitely gonna play. I'm gonna play him balanced next time.
Yeah, I mean, because balance isn't really that hard necessarily. Although I do find myself saves coming way more than I did in Explorer mode. But then I'm also playing a vanilla one with no mods, so I don't have the little ring that gives you, super good dice rolls all the time. But I mean, other than that, I don't know.
You mean cheating?
Yes, I'm not cheating. So that because like today, like I said, I'm in the Shadow Curse lands. I come up on some Githyanki that are pissed off at us because, of course, we pissed off Valakith. And those assholes in balance mode, I mean, they're hard in Explorer mode even, but in balance mode, they're even worse. And they're just, they're just difficult anyway. So
I feel like half the audience, along with me, when you say some of these like group names, are just like, I don't know what she's talking about. She might as well be speaking French right now.
Well, the frog people. Is that better?
Yes, immensely better.
All right. But yeah, so they wiped us out twice. So I had to go back to camp, and I'm reworking spell books and changing up the team a little bit to try to figure out what the good combo would be so I can kick these people's ass. The frog people's ass. They're not there yet. But like I said, it's been fun. Like Aridin, the guy you meet at the Grove, who's a real prick, and he doesn't get any better throughout the rest of the game. I had fun because my rogue got to punch him the other day and knocked his ass flat. So I chuckled at that.
Oh yeah, you shared that.
About it. Yep. Yeah. So that was fun. I'm just enjoying the hell out of it. And Mark's telling me things that I didn't catch, the first time I went through. So now I'm gonna go back and do that. I don't know. I just enjoy the hell out of it. Obviously, because I got 5 characters going. So,
Okay.
Baldur's Gate.
Fair enough. Baldur's Gate 3, the gift that keeps giving. Speaking of gifts that give, Mr. Matthew,
Mr. DeLacy,
you have been playing Astroneer. You can say Mr. DeLacy. I will answer to that, by the way. Happy to answer that. I
have been playing Astroneer. I don't know. Have any of you played this?
No. Cole's son plays a lot of this.
So this one came out, I want to say 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So it's certainly not a new game, and I played it maybe 5 years ago. I played it quite a bit. But last week I asked the community a question because you get your monthly, if you do 8 different games on Game Pass every month, you get some bonus points to your rewards. And so I needed some games. And so Corzan says, hey, how about we do the co-op achievements in Astroneer? And I was like, you know what? That's a great idea because I don't have those. They're the only ones I don't have. So we jumped in a game together. It takes like 10 minutes to knock out the co-op achievements. But then I was like, man, I forgot how much I actually enjoyed this game. And so I started playing it again. I actually just started all over. I had a whole thing built up. So what you're seeing in the video that you're showing is just kind of the opening. You just drop onto the starting planet,
Right.
And throws out your starting shelter and your starting landing pad, and you start to build out your camp from there. I had this whole huge camp built up, a whole bunch of technology unlocked, and I had no idea what any of it did because it had been so long since I played the game. So I actually just started all over. but it's just, I think a lot of people give it a pass because it looks a little cute. It's not. You look at the color palette is very simple. The character models are very simple. There aren't really any enemies. The only danger is getting lost and suffocating. Because if you're away from your camp for too long, your oxygen tanks run out.
And you can build like lines. So it kind of reminds me of Subnautica in a way, just not space as opposed to underwater. Because in Subnautica, you would kind of start building things out to let yourself explore further and further and further. And you have these resources that you're kind of vacuuming up, if you will, and that will allow you to then start making extra stuff.
Yeah, so you're vacuuming up the resources, they build out more stuff, and then you eventually unlock research. So you get this device that you can put things in that gives you science credits. They're called bytes. And that's how you build out your tech tree.
And I guess kind of a little Minecraft like, because you do terraform within this as well. So like as you're sucking things up, you could like you drill down, so to speak, to get to other stuff.
You're changing the terrain. You absolutely are. Although you can, no, they're not. You get little mods for your tools. Like there's one that makes it go faster. There's different types of terrain. There's dirt and rock and different types of rock. And so you have to get a drill mod to go through the rock. And there's one you can get where you can pull the resources out without actually deforming the terrain. But it's just a lot of fun. It's pretty chill. As long as you take your time and run those tethers wherever you want to go, so that you have plenty of power and oxygen.
And he automatically tethers to it as he gets close, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So as long as you're close to the line, then you're good to go. You eventually unlock a shuttle so that you can travel between different planets in this little solar system. Because not all of the resources that you need are on one planet. So you gotta kind of hop between planets. And it's a little bit of a mystery to unravel. It's not super drawn out. It won't take you the 60 hours that a Baldur's Gate playthrough will take. But you kind of drill down to the middle of each planet and kind of unravel this mystery of what all's going on there.
Okay.
I'm going to say, what's the objective of the game?
It's the objective is to explore. It really is. It seems like so they do give you, if you go to the landing pad, they give you a little mission log, which gives you some tasks to do, which at the start is basically teaching you the game, but then it kind of gets into some more advanced things. The devs seem to really like to do Christmas events and then just leave them running. So I just found the thing where I found this mysterious object that I had to take to the icy planet, and it built a little train station on the icy planet, right? Polar Express kind of thing. So they've done a lot of updates in the last few years, and there's another reason why I started over, was because I had no idea what was going on with all the updates. So yeah. I think if you like kind of chill games, like the people that've been playing Blueprints probably would like this. There's never any real danger as long as you're kind of taking your time. And it's got I described the tech tree as deep enough to be interesting, not so deep as to be intimidating, I guess is how I would describe it.
Okay.
Fun game.
All
Fun
right.
game. Little
awesome.
Is it on Game
played
Pass?
it if it wasn't on Game Pass. It is on.
Oh, it's on Game Pass. Oh, right.
Yeah.
I might give it a go then.
And it's a play anywhere game, so you can bounce back and forth between console and PC. But that's the beauty of Game Pass. I probably would not have played the game if it were not on Game Pass.
Fair.
So there you go. Yeah.
What's going on with Oblivion?
So I'm still enjoying it. I love my Elder Scrolls games. I'm a Bethesda fanboy, but the cracks are starting to show. The age of the engine, the age of the game. So I'm noticing load times are kind of increasing, and it seems that every time I walk into a shop, it takes a minute for all the clutter that's on all the shelves to render, and then it all falls to the floor. So every shop that I go to, all the merchandise is just all over the floor.
I do remember that being an Oblivion thing. Like you'd walk into a room and you just see like plates and cups falling to the table.
Yes. Well, now they're all on the floor.
Okay.
So it's not game breaking. It's
Right.
moderately annoying. I'm still going to continue to play it. Again, it's 20-ish years old now, so it's not. I don't feel like I'm in any hurry to finish the story before spoilers come spoiling. I can
Right.
just take my time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mark is installing Astroneer right now.
Yeah.
Way to go. It is
I
up to
presume it's
4-player
got. Has he
co-op.
got crossplay? Has he got crossplay as well between Xbox and PC?
Yes, I
Good.
believe so. Yeah. And it's up to 4-player co-op. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What else, Mr.
Speaking of-
Matthew?
Speaking of co-op play,
Yeah.
spent a lot of time in Enshrouded. Got a group of 8 or 9 people that all raid together.
That's good.
It somewhat trivializes the boss fights when you have that
A
many
high quality
people.
Japanese
Yeah,
style
yeah.
kitchen knife.
But it is a lot of fun. It is, and like you, Mark, I love the survival, crafting, resource
Exploring,
harvesting,
yeah.
exploring type games. So that's
I'm going to get back into this next week because there's a big update coming this week, isn't there?
there is.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they're adding a new biome. It looks like they're going to
No.
change the way
Yeah.
the shroud works.
Yeah.
And add some new enemies. So that should be interesting. Um,
I need to join you guys with this. Because like I've only ever played with the most we've ever played with is me, Jay, Gary, and Sumu. So 4 of us. But yeah, I've not played with a big group. I don't know what that'd be like. That'd be interesting.
it gets a little janky sometimes.
Yeah.
The server load gets when there's more than about 6, the server can get overloaded,
Yeah.
and it gets a little janky. But we kind of fight through it. Yeah. And then the usual suspects. Black Ops 6 keeps
Fatal
giving me-
Fridays. Yeah.
Yeah, keeps giving me blood pressure.
Oh God! Oh, I was ready to uninstall the game Friday night. Oh, so frustrating. I only play it because of you guys. I play it for the social side of it, but that game just it just
Sure.
grinds my
Blink
gears, man.
him.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah,
your
we
fault.
played
It's not great.
Baldur's Gate, so why not? You know.
Yeah. And I'm kind of waiting on the next update for No Man's Sky. The nice thing about No Man's Sky is it's got lots of things that you can log on, set them in motion, and log off, and it'll do it while you're away. So
that's
it's just
cool.
kind of daily
So
maintenance.
you were
right
saying
now.
they do like different expeditions each. Was it a month or something? Are you waiting for the next expedition?
I don't know how long the expeditions last. The last one, when I started it, there were still 5 weeks to go.
Right. Okay.
So I'm not sure when the next one is launching. I guess I guess soonish, because it's only about 3 weeks left in the current expedition.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of just waiting for the next one to start. Get a new challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Games.
I know that the show is running long, so I will try and be somewhat quick, if you will. So I fired up Claire Obscure Expedition 33 on Action Cloud.
I need to get back in this.
So a couple things. One, I don't know this is going to be for me. I really don't.
Oh.
The combat seems quite limited, doesn't it?
So I want to talk about the combat in particular. And this is what I made the foreshadowing comment earlier about tactics turn-based RPG being the gold standard. And the reason for that is in Claire, I'm just going to say Expedition 33 because the Claire Obscure thing,
Right.
it's just a mouthful. So Expedition 33, combat is basically, and this is going to elementary school, Red Rover, send Mark on over. That's basically how I see this. Everybody lines up. You're lining up on your line of characters and people, and they're lining up on their side. And then you are just fighting like colonial combat from line to line, across the way.
Yeah.
There's no dynamic to it other than I will give them credit.
Is there?
They've this active parry and dodge that they've built into the system. I think is brilliant, and it's a good addition for turn-based combat. But I am really tired of this kind of presentation of combat in so many RPGs, which is again, Red Rover. Everybody lines up on one side. The bad guys are all on one side, and then we're all on the other side, and then everybody takes their turn in combat. There's no, you don't get any of the height, variants of, say, a battlefield where you can have people up higher and lower. None of that. So it just kind of put me off, to just be perfectly frank. The other thing I really am not crazy about with this game is I get the reason there's no map, because you go to this island that you don't know where you're going, and it's an expedition. But on the flip side, it's incredibly confusing at times to know where the hell you're supposed to go, because the color palette's not fantastic. And I say that because it becomes confusing. Like in this particular area you see on screen, everything has this bluish hue in this area, and so there are some tells. There's little pedals and things like that you can follow to help you guide, but until you figure that out, it is a bit of a like, okay, wait, am I supposed to go this way, or is that where I came from? So I found myself experiencing a lot of that. The story is interesting. The presentation is good, but I'm not the biggest JRPG fan. So even though it's French RPG, it's still JRPG, and its presentation, and again, the way they move around the environments, it screams like Lewis will love this game.
The critics love it though, don't they? It gets reviews all over.
The story is good. It
the voice
has some
action's good.
real emotional moments to it so far, but I am struggling with the combat just being so. It does not feel super dynamic to me, and I know there are elements to it, and I'm probably oversimplifying things. I get that. I just hate the presentation of the combat. Maybe that's my bigger issue. I just don't like this whole notion of all the bad guys are on one side of the screen and we're all on the other side of the screen, and we just line up and we're taking shots back and forth. It's just dumb. I'm sorry. It's dumb. And having played XCOM and experienced the greatness that is, tactical combat where you're using cover and you're still turn-based, and that to me is dynamic. That to me is exciting. This just is, again, it just reminds me of childhood games where we were lining up on a field. And so
there are 200 million people that disagree with you, Greg.
I know.
200 million copies of various Final Fantasy titles have been sold. So I understand what you're saying. It certainly is a different experience. I've always been a fan of the Final Fantasy series, and so this game just reminded me of that, and I was actually pretty excited about it.
Have you seen Lewis's reply?
Yes. I called it. He will definitely love this game.
JRPGs are awesome.
JRPGs, you have to have a love for them, and I just don't. I don't. So, yeah. But I'm going to try and continue with this. I'm just making it be known right now. I'm not a fan of the combat so far, or moving around. Okay. Outside of that, I did finally put the bow on South of Midnight.
Nice.
So, I will say this is a good game. It's not a great game. I feel like it overstays its welcome by about 2 to 3 chapters. I could have easily been happy with them wrapping the story up faster. And it seems like they were trying to pad it out. I mean, I say this, then maybe not, but it just felt like early on you're hearing some stories and it takes some very dark turns, and it's like, holy crap, that's what we're talking about. And a lot of it's with child abuse, just be forewarned. I feel like the moments of uncovering these other stories are not as nearly as impactful as those first few. And maybe it's just because you kind of expect kind of more horrific instances of kids not being treated well, or just bad things happening. But the story, I think, just it plays itself out a little. They stretched it a little too far. If they had dialed it back 2 chapters earlier, I think it would have wrapped up really well. The combat, again, it's very Hellblade like in that you get into these little biospheres where you're doing your combat and then you move on. And I actually found the platforming far more fun than I did the combat. To me, and I just dialed the combat down to easy just to get through it because it didn't excite me. After your first few encounters, there are some varied enemies that you'll encounter, but it plays out identical every time. You kill all the enemies in the biosphere. You basically pull the thread out from the final. I forgot what they call it, but it's like a heart, if you will. What was that?
The knot. It's a knot.
Yes, the
knot. She's untangling the knot.
Yeah, you untangle the knot and then you move on. And sometimes you'll uncover the story bit, which you're seeing here on screen, and these story bits will play out, after one another. And I'm going to transition away from this because it's kind of giving away a little bit of what happened. So anyway, good story. Love the music. And the visuals of this game, I think, are also really good. It's not going to be on my game of the year list. It's a good game. It's worth playing. It's great that it's in Game Pass. But it's not the be all end all, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I've got a prediction for Game of the Year for Kim. I think I know what a Game of the Year will be.
Yeah, probably.
Battlefield.
Well, it can't be that. It came out last year.
This is true. This is true.
Oh, well,
We've
we
got-
don't do
we've
that
got
anymore.
special rules.
Yeah,
No,
we do have special rules these days.
All right.
All right. We are finally through all of our updates. Let's get into the most important thing we can possibly do on this podcast.
All right, now everybody get settled. Get away from the windows. Now look, good. It's time for the quiz. Yeah, you know what? Oh, too bad. Tough.
Too bad. Tough. I would get away from the window, but it's right here. So there we go. I have for you this week a special Mother's Day themed Metacritic Madness quiz.
Nice.
Some of these games an interesting take on motherhood, but here we go.
Okay.
And in keeping with the equal representation of platforms, I have 4 questions all on different platforms today. So we're going to kick it off with let's see. Yeah, we're just going to go Greg, Mark, Kim, and then we'll go round robin that way. We're going to kick it off with Resident Evil Village, and this was a PS5 release.
Resident Evil Village.
Oh yeah,
Resident
that's
Evil
one
Village.
after Biohazard, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's
yes. Okay.
It's your board, Greg.
Resident Evil Village. I'm going to say 85.
85. All right. And then Mark.
So I know the one before it got a lot of praise, and this one did as well. I'm going to Price is Right, Greg. I'm going to go 84.
84. And Kim.
And what is it on?
This is Resident Evil Village on the PlayStation 5.
Oh, 5.
Okay. I'm gonna go 90.
Kim says 90.
I thought she was going to write Price is Right me with an 86.
Yeah, you should have prices righted one of them because the actual answer was 84. So well done, Mark.
Well done, Mark.
Now this one's a bit of a stretch. But there is a recurring character of the mother in the Pikachu games, and so on the Nintendo Switch, the game is Detective Pikachu Returns, and the honor of the first guess is to Mr. Marcanix this round.
Real quickly, by the way, Lewis and Corazon both came in with 88s on the previous. Well done. Not as good as Mark, but well done.
All right. Make sure we keep their story in there.
I always struggle with Nintendo games. The only Detective Pikachu I know is a Ryan Reynolds movie. I have no idea. I'm just gonna throw a number out there. I'm going to say 72.
Mark says 72. And so now it's Kim's turn.
Well, I'll go 85.
Kim says 85. Corzan says 70. And Greg.
I'm going to go with 76. Not quite Price is Right, Mark, but ish.
All right. And Lewis says 90. Yeah, well, all of you were very generous. The answer was 66.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Where Detective
Wow.
Pikachu returns.
I think Lewis fell into a trap there because he's saying the Pokemon games are popular, but I think this was a sidestep to the normal Pokemon games, wasn't it? I don't think it was. Yeah.
They are very popular.
Popular doesn't mean good, though. This is an important distinction.
This is true.
Yes.
Mario games are super popular, but not all Mario games are made alike.
That's correct. Correct. Okay, so almost there. Kim, you're up first this time. The platform is the Xbox One, and the name of the game is Inside.
Oh, what a game!
Oh,
Sorry, give me a
this one
clue
did
again.
Maybe you should
I'm sure this one did relatively well. I think. I'm gonna say 90 on it too.
Kim says 90, which brings us back around the horn to Greg.
I'm going to say 92.
Greg says 92 for Inside. What does Mark think?
This had one of the weirdest and most compelling endings to a game ever.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved this game, but what I like and what the critics like are two different things. I know this was. I'm sure this was an indie darling with the industry. I'm going to Price is Right everyone and go 93.
Mark says 93, and we got an 83 and a 90.
And 90 off Jeff, yeah, and 83 off Lewis.
So, Mark's on fire this week. 2 correct answers. The answer was 93.
I think that's the first time ever for 2 on the dot.
There we go.
I would just like to say that he Prices Righted me once again, and that's what gave him the good answer.
Yeah,
not
because you were close, Greg.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I'm just saying.
Close, but no cigar. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? Okay, so with one question to go, Mark is in the lead by 6. Greg is in second, and Kim close third, 6 behind Greg. So
Might
12
I make a
points.
suggestion?
Yo.
The person that's in the lead should have to go first.
All right. Let's go with that.
Feeling a bit sore about getting Prices Right.
We take suggestions from the floor. So the final game, our PC release this week, is What Remains of Edith Finch.
Oh, another fantastic game. We loved this, didn't we, Kim?
Yep.
Oh,
like
I don't normally like walking simulators, but I loved this. That fish can factory thing was just insane. Another indie darling, wasn't it? I'm gonna say 91.
Mark says 91. Let's see. So, Greg, you're the next closest, so you get to go next.
I'm going to go 86.
Greg goes 86. And then, Kim, what do you think? What Remains of Edith Finch?
I'm gonna go 89.
Kim says 89. See if give it a second here to see if we get any roll-in answers.
I'm wondering
from
if I've
the
gone a
chat.
bit. I'm wondering if I've gone a bit too generous there.
What Remains
But I
of
loved
Edith
it.
Finch?
I'm counting on
Jeff
it.
says 88.
Got an 88.
Yeah, Lewis says 90.
And a 90. So
Yeah,
you're
Lewis
all
is on my
very
wavelength.
close.
Yeah.
The actual answer is 89.
No.
Which
Yeah,
closes
brilliant
us
game.
out this week with Mark in the lead with 8 points, Greg in second with 15 points, and Kim rounding it out with 28 points. Corzan with a close second at 12 points. And Lewis, unfortunately, was too generous to Detective Pokemon, or excuse me, Detective Pikachu, and it cost him.
He's got
that.
blinkers on. He's got his
So,
blinkers on. His Nintendo blinkers.
There you go. So there you have it. That's your Metacritic madness for this week, Mother's Day themed. We'll be
Thank you,
back
Chris.
next
That
week
was
for something
fantastic.
completely different.
Well done on the quiz, Mr. Matthew. Thank you for that.
Here is the fucking news.
All right. In a week, I didn't think there would be a lot of news. There was surprisingly a lot of news. First up, and I included this only because this brings back so many memories for me of podcast journalism as it was really kind of forming, which is Giant Bomb has been sold by the company Fandom and will continue independently. So this was announced during the group's PAX East panel. The site has been sold by Fandom to longtime staffers Jeff Grubb, Jeff Bakalar, and Dan Reichert, Mike Minotti, and Jan Ochoa. The news was announced during the group's PAX East panel. Giant Bomb is now owned by the people who make Giant Bomb, and it would not have been possible without the speedy efforts of Fandom and our mutual agreement on what was best for fans and creators, said Jeff Grubb and Jeff Bakalar in a joint statement. So now Giant Bomb will now focus on subscriptions, which have been raised from $5 to $10. By the way, just a shot here to say our podcast is still free. Now, the news comes after weeks of uncertainty around the website, which abruptly ceased live streaming content last month. Earlier this week, in the 888th episode of the Giant Bomb Cast, one of the longest running video podcasts, almost as long or longer than us, but not quite, we're close. So it was published, but then swiftly removed. The episode included a lengthy section where the host mocked a series of overreaching brand guidelines. And I think this is where all the shit hit the fan. So these overreaching guidelines were given to the website by the current owner at that time, Fandom. Yeah, I know. I'm going to try and get through the news as fast as possible. I promise. So the guidelines included rules on swearing and other restrictions on content, which were entirely different from the style of content Giant Bomb had been built on. So following the guidelines, Jeff Grubb announced his departure from the site. Longtime staff member Dan Reichert discussed the issues that faced the site during a stream, claiming he would never appear on Giant Bomb again as well. So I think basically shit went sideways with these guidelines coming out, and they kind of formed this walkout. And I think Fandom ultimately caved and said, well, look, we'll sell it to you, because without them, Giant Bomb was dead. So I'm happy to see them continue forward. It's not the same Giant Bomb, though, I remember from back in the day. Jeff Gerstmann and Ryan Davis were kind of the initial founders, along with Vinny Caravella. I couldn't think of his first name. And I remember those days vividly because I actually met Ryan Davis, who has since passed, and Vinny Caravella at an E3 event. And it's kind of funny to see some of your idols in person, and you quickly realize they don't remember or remind you of what they look like or what you hear, if you will. Anyway, Mr. Matthew, you posted this new Nintendo EULA story, so I'm going to pass it to you real fast. Putting you on the spot, I know. Throwing you under the bus maybe a little bit. But I'll have you talk to this because I did not see this story, and so I'm not familiar with it.
You're gonna have to pay me more. At least double what I'm currently.
2 more crackers.
Paid. Yeah, thank you. I love crackers. So Nintendo has posted, and if you look into their end user license agreement, they have the ability to render your console permanently unusable if they detect piracy or modifications in any of your games saved on the hardware. I suppose this is more of an issue in the console space. It caught my eye just because I'm a PC gamer, and modding is kind of part of PC gaming almost. And so I don't know. Do we agree with this? Do we think we should be able to modify our games? I certainly understand them wanting to crack down on piracy.
I think completely disabling the console fully is a bit of a step too far. I understand the bit with the Microsoft and the PlayStations where if you're cheating and modding a console and piracy, then they will take you offline, but you can still use your console on offline sort of thing. I get that side, but to completely render it useless, I don't know.
Seems a bit much to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, obviously we've kind of shifted in the gaming space to these, kind of more open platforms, PC primarily being the real driver there. And I'm so used to now people talking about mods and being able to, change things to, work better for their system. It does feel very heavy-handed. But this isn't surprising from Nintendo. Nintendo has had a legacy of being very heavy-handed with their IP, with mods. I want to say it was the Wii that got, think about it now, actually older Nintendo IP, like from the SNES. All of that stuff is out there on the PC, internets, if you will. People can download and play those games, and I'm pretty sure Nintendo's not thrilled about that, and they try to crack down on that as much as possible. It does feel weird that they can brick your console without any repercussions of
Right.
compensation.
Yeah, Lewis agrees. He put that's too far to brick your console.
Well, particularly if it's buried in an EULA. I mean, I know when we click accept, we are agreeing to all that fine print, but nobody reads it. Nobody reads it.
Right.
I'm just imagining. Well, I guess the kids aren't the ones that we're worried about here. They're probably not the ones that are pirating games, but maybe that's less of a concern. Yeah. See what happens.
Exactly.
Well, I'm sure.
Speaking of seeing what will happen, this actually is a little bit of a late to the party news, if you ask me, just because we heard about the Microsoft price increases, as well as we know Nintendo increased the price on the Switch 2 accessories, I should say. But the trade association behind the CES tech event has warned that the Donald Trump tariffs could lead to console prices rising nearly 70% in the U.S. So according to the TPW's report, and that's via Tom's Hardware, if the pause on tariffs ends in July and the higher rates are applied as they currently stand, the price of tech goods could drastically increase in the U.S., with an estimated increase ranging from 24% on desktop PCs and 30.8% on smartphones to a huge 69.4% on video game consoles. The report claims that 87% of the video game consoles come from China. Its 145% rate means the average retail cost of game consoles could potentially rise as much as $428 per unit. And that's their cost. So keep that in mind. That's the cost for them to make it. It also estimates that that would result in a loss of $12 billion in consumer spending on the console system due to the higher prices. Okay. We are going to go as fast as possible. Rockstar has claimed Grand Theft Auto 6's second trailer was a massive success. It was the biggest video launch all time, beating out major Hollywood movie trailers. So GTA 6 trailer 2 dropped on Tuesday in a surprise release, and according to Rockstar, it received over 475 million views across all platforms in its first day. So that's kind of crazy to think about video games being just, it's a huge business.
I hope the game looks as good as that trailer, because that trailer is absolutely superb.
Agreed. Those of you that don't have VR, which is the vast majority of people, and you wisely stayed away from VR, fear not. The game Alien Rogue Incursion, which was VR exclusive, is coming as a non-VR version later this year. It'll come to PS5 and PC in December. Originally released for the PS5 and PC in December of 2024, with a Quest 3 version following in February. The game now will come to PS5 and Steam in an enhanced version called Alien Rogue Incursion Evolved Edition, and no longer requires virtual reality. Sorry, Lewis. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission has finally lost its appeal against Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. I was not aware this was still going on. Apparently, the FTC was sore losers, and they did file an appeal. But according
Won't
to the
let it
appeals,
lie, will they? Won't let it lie.
well, they do have to let it lie now, because according to the appeals court, the FTC failed to show that Microsoft would have prevented rival companies from gaining access to Call of Duty after acquiring Activision Blizzard. And now it was able to prove that the deal would have, nor were they able to prove that it would have lessened competition in the gaming subscription market. So basically everything the FTC was trying to claim that would happen, the courts basically have looked at it over the course of a year plus, and just, I mean, it hasn't proven out anything. So that whole chapter for Microsoft is now done, and now they can put the squeeze on everybody for Call of Duty. Gears of War Reloaded officially coming this August to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. So everybody freaked out. Gears of War Reloaded, the remastered version of the original, is coming on August 26th. It will cost $39.99 on all platforms and will be available on Game Pass day one. I'm watching Mr. Matthew type away. I'm okay.
Sorry, when you say Gears of War, I immediately go to the Gears of War 3 Mad World trailer.
Oh,
that
yes.
was that was just one of the better.
Yeah,
not 465 million views, but that was a pretty great trailer.
It was actually one of my favorite trailers of all time. So there's that.
But when I first saw this, I didn't realize about the PlayStation bit, but I thought they've already remastered this. They did the Ultimate Edition.
They did. They did.
So
now they're doing the
a
Ultimate
remaster of a
Edition.
remaster. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
They're
But
pulling a Sony play.
PlayStation players are gonna love this.
Yeah. Now, what is nice is if you do own the Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which was the remastered edition from before, they're giving that to you free.
Yeah,
you'll get that free. But again, this is people are like, oh, Xbox is dead. But this lays into the whole strategy behind Microsoft going more multi-platform. And that's where this next story kind of bears that out, which is, and I just laughed a little bit, the top 3 best-selling digital games on the PS5 last month were all Microsoft titles.
And next month, it'll be Gears of War as well.
yeah.
No, August, sorry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, in August, it'll
in
be
the US and Canada, the top 3 games for April were Elder Scrolls Oblivion 4 Remastered, Minecraft, and Forza Horizon 5. Meanwhile, in Europe, the top 3 games were Forza Horizon 5, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, and Minecraft.
Microsoft are going
Doom Dark Agents, yeah. But this is just more validation for Microsoft.
That's clever for Microsoft doing that.
It's going to be interesting.
People thought they were mad, but yeah, that's clever.
I wonder if at some point they start pulling a Sony, because they're making a ton more money now being on multi-platform. If they don't start kind of creating some avenues of exclusivity into Game Pass, because Game Pass has been the one thing that hasn't really changed for Microsoft. It's been kind of their play. They're seeing a lot of growth on the PC side. And I just wonder if they might at some point, because one of the things they talked about was in the past, Sony used a lot of their revenue to kind of wall off Microsoft from access to certain games. If they don't try and go back to that tactic, they tried it early on, they just didn't have enough of a head of steam. But now that they're publishing a lot of really good games, I do wonder if that tactic might come back into play. Anyway. Okay. That's it for the news. We're going to quickly transition over to new releases. Kim, if you'd be so kind.
Sure. Alrighty, your new releases for this week are Labyrinth of the Demon King for the PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on May 13th. Omega Crafter for the PC, May 14th. Void Sales, also for PC, May 14th. Doom, The Dark Ages for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, May 15th. I'm actually kind of excited for that one. Nubs Arena, PC for May 15th. I don't know what that one's about. I can only guess. Tennis Manager 25 for the PC, May 15th. Capcom Fighting Collection 2 for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, May 16th. And Of Life and Land for the PC on May 16th. And those are your new releases.
Thank you for that, Kim. And of course, I just threw a shot at, probably stabbed at Chris's heart. He asked in the chat, he said, are Xbox players really missing out on not having access to Helldivers 2? This made Chris cry internally.
I'm not crying. They're missing out, and I keep thinking they're going to get it, but it's not happening.
No. I mean, PC. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see the path that Microsoft takes moving forward with next generation console hardware. I have a feeling there's foreshadowing in some of their terminology. I'm just going to leave this here and we'll move on and wrap things up. But Xbox PC has become kind of a new term that's being thrown out there, as opposed to it used to be Xbox Games, but Xbox PC. And I just wonder if that is their path. They're going to be creating Xbox PC as the platform. And then that becomes very game changing if it really is just a PC with Xbox branding.
If they just had if the Xbox Series X just had native mouse and keyboard support, be a game changer.
I mean, they do have mouse and keyboard support.
Yeah,
now,
do, yeah.
But it's not. I mean, native. It didn't come out natively for it, but it is there now. So there's that.
Might have to give it a whirl.
Yeah. All right. Play dates. Tuesday. Shooty Tuesday. That is still very much on the table for me. So I will be looking to get on Tuesday. Sometimes it might happen a half hour later, but usually around 8 p.m.-ish in the UK, 12 p.m.-ish on the West Coast. Figure it out on all of your other coasts. Double Fatal Fridays. This is growing a little. It's growing.
Yeah.
It's catching
although this Friday we only had 4 of us. It was Chris, Kim, me, and Jay.
It's shrinking.
Some weeks you have more than others. It was a cracking day in the UK, so a lot of UK guys might have been out at barbecues and having a beer and stuff. So yeah,
it's always good to go out and get your sunburn.
It was apart from the frustration, we had a laugh. So yeah, it's good.
Right.
And we could always play something else. We just throw it out there on the night. What do you want to play? And everyone just said Call of Duty. So I went, okay then. So,
well, certain people were crying about that a little bit ago. I'm just saying, Mark. You normies, and your. All right.
Don't go there, Greg. Don't go there.
I'm not going there. All right. If you've been listening to the show this far, we thank you so much. Do the like and subscribe. Do the social media thing. Spread the word. We're fun, nice people. We've heard this before. We'll be back next week. Same time, same channel. I say same time-ish. Sometimes we start a little later, sometimes earlier. Sometimes we have internet issues. Sometimes we don't. Today's been a good day.
Reminds me. Yeah, Mark hasn't had any.
Yeah, I know. Like, you just know if I was hosting, it'd have dropped.
This
Sod's law, isn't it?
This is true.
Or as you guys call it, Murphy's Law.
All right. Shout outs. Mr. Matthew, I'm going to start with you first because I know you've got Mother's Day celebration to get to, so let's get through this fast.
All right. Well, I'm going to shout out Lewis and Jeff for competing in the quiz this weekend. It's always fun when people are playing along. And Jeff for jumping on some Astroneer and playing a little bit of co-op. And shout out to moms everywhere. Happy Mother's Day. Before his internet drops, because we said it and now it's going to happen, we're going to pass it over to Mark.
I want to shout out to Phil because he's been in hospital recently, so get well, Phil. Everyone who sent me birthday greetings on the Discords and stuff, so thank you for that. the Friday COD players, and finally to Jenny for an awesome day out on Friday. So thank you very much. Over to Kim.
Alrighty, I'm gonna shout out our shatters. I'm actually working on a grocery list too at the moment. So if I start calling you like milk, eggs, and cheese, I'm sorry.
Well,
We've
one
got
of us is
playing
a cabbage.
Oh, all right, that's true. Playing skills. Imp the Bro J was in here. Major Revenge, Lord, and Corzon were all in the chat today. So thanks, guys, for dropping in. Other than that, everybody have a good week this week. Hopefully I have no more animals escaping, but God knows, sometimes around here it's just a crazy farm. And thank God Mark's internet stayed going today. So, over to Tank Top.
All right. Shout out to the three of you. Thank you for joining me on this Mother's Day. It's always nice to talk games and get back into the swing of things. Shout out to Kim's dad for appearing on the video.
Yes, that was my
nice to
dad.
see. Yes, that's dad.
And thank God for clarifying that was my dad, because other people are like, "Oh, is that your boyfriend?" And I'm like, "Oh dear God, what?"
Wasn't gonna go there.
Thank you.
Shout
Appreciate
out
that.
to Mark's Internet for staying put. Shout out to my sister and her never-ending liking of different messages from other family members, because all it does is just constantly pound my phone with notifications of liked. And every once in a while,
Lovely.
I get highlighted or loved, but liked. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the mothers, those that I have loved, those that I love, and those that may not like me anymore. On that note, we're going to end the show. Thanks, everybody. Come back next week. We'll talk again.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast. See you same time next week.